Okay, now I gotta sit at the computer. If you can't have fun with your pictures, then why do you even YouTube, bro? Stacy is here, and wife is here. Wife is diligently working on the Stiltby site, adding some things that I've been meaning to add.
Sharing the video. Tonight. We've almost got tonight's 5. This technically is hard.
Whoa, these guys show up fast.
Hi, Lonnie Mask, Mike for Halloween, Scott Colhart, Stanley X, Michael Lasseter, Enigma 12 in first.
Well, it's good to have dreams.
Scuba Steve, hello. Susan Nathan, hello. Deanne Cash, Robert White, Rodney Pope, Justin Beck. Enigma Volunteers Counting Tribute. Von Dyne, hey, hey, hey.
Okay. Wow, Enigma's like already volunteering. Listen, it's going to be tough tonight, so I'm doing things a little different. All right, I'm going to do things a little bit different. Because it's a lot of picking people, and it's a lot of numbers, and it gets difficult. So, how many people are on? Is there like 30 on?
29 people.
Oh, that's not 30. Well, never mind.
30's watching right now.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case. So right now the time is 7:36. At 7:46 we will pick. And Enigma, you remember that you volunteered, all right? Remember that you volunteered for this. I have a new list for this evening. And I'm not going to have people pick numbers and we pick between 2. That's too easy and, well, it's too calm. Tonight I'm ready for some mass hysteria.
Enigma says, I'll sacrifice myself for the good of ever myself.
I'm ready for some mass hysteria, and to get that, I have 7 things on this list, and I'm going to tell you about all of them, and then you guys are just going to pick what you want. All right? Are you ready? I still have to do a skeleton chest. So a skeleton chest, I would sculpt the skeleton chest, and in all honesty, odds are good. I would also mold the skeleton chest tonight because it's going to be a flat mold, it's going to be simple, and that'll be nice. So you guys are voting on which one of these that you want. I'm going to read through all of them, and then I will explain them a little better. Skeleton chest. An ape. I want to do a simian ape creature. That's been on the list for months, actually. And I want to sculpt another ape. I think I went too big with the last one, and I want to bring it down and just do a better ape sculpture. Spikor from the Masters of the Universe. He is on my list. A frost giant, specifically a frost giant from a Conan video game that I just like the design of. Clawful, also from Masters of the Universe. He is a bad guy who is also part lobster, I think. Clawful, Spikor, and Hordak. Those 3. Hordak is on the list. All from Masters of the Universe. So Hordak, Clawful, a skeleton chest that I can use for many costumes. An ape mask, because I need to do a better, tighter ape, simian, monster mask. Spikor, a frost giant, and a full head pumpkin mask. This would not be a half mask like the pumpkin blank that I have now. It'll be a full head pumpkin mask. So, Enigma, I hope you are paying attention. Do people want to see the full head pumpkin mask? Hordak, Clawful, Spikor, all 3 of those are from Master of the Universe. Skeleton chest, ape, or a frost giant, which is just a pretty darn cool monster, which I think could also be used as an ogre and those kind of things.
Enigma has said, just an FYI, I take bribes.
Oh, Enigma takes bribes. Got it.
Third grade terror says, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Wait, that's every night in the house.
Yeah, it is. This is mass. Sometimes there's bats. I don't know if you guys see my Facebook, but the other night I was about to go to bed, It was 2:30 in the morning, and I thought, I will get in bed. I am ready to sleep. I'm chill, I'm mellow, and as I stand up out of my recliner, a bat flies right in front of my face, in the house, in the living room. Then I went, I got the pull net, I put that together, I excitedly caught a bat, I let the bat go, it was a process. But then I was no longer chill and ready for bed, so I stayed up another 2 hours. What you do?
Rachel Powell says, made it to Biddy for more plaster then?
I did, I have plaster now. We actually molded toothpaste. And when I say we molded toothpaste, I shouted instructions at Stacy.
Cuts FX says, I'm going to cast my first mask tomorrow. I've set it up so even if I fail, I can hold the spilled latex for minimal waste. I'm going to do a beauty coat since I'm using black lagoon.
Okay, great.
Anyone says, Clawful sounds awesome.
Clawful does sound awesome. He's like a lobster. Now, I want to be honest with you. The drawing that they... So far, there hasn't really been a good Clawful. Like, they look pretty terrible. The one in the cartoon looks bad. The original toy looks bad. But there's been like a couple collector's statues, believe it or not, of Angry Lobster Man Clawful. And they look pretty good. And that's what I'm using for reference, is that, and put my own spin on it.
Enigma says, no one wants you to sculpt. They're all just asking for you to shimmy again.
To shimmy?
Yeah.
They want a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Bridget the Wench says, I've also had sleep thwarted by a bat mouse.
Yes.
Warmonger says, damn, I made it on time. Cool.
You did.
Mike Murphy asks, how big of a pumpkin head?
A slightly big enough to put your head in, so it'll be a mask. It won't be pumpkin head, it'll be a pumpkin mask. Your head will be a pumpkin.
You can use this table.
No.
Yeah, that's a shorty table.
Oh, it's a shorty table.
Al Matra says, it's hot, let's do the frost giant.
There you go. That's reasonable thinking.
Bravo Brian and Scott Creighton say, hey Shannon. Right now is a full head pumpkin mask, Hordak, Clawful, skeleton chest, and a new ape mask, spike ore, or a frost giant.
Ezekiel, we are getting our votes in. The options that we have.
All right, it's 7:41.
Your favorite, Ezekiel. There's 3 Masters of the Universe characters on this list. And you can vote for anything. We didn't pick numbers or nothing.
What was 7:40 was the?
745.
7:45, oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Hordak, Clawful, and Spikeor. Hordak, Clawful, and Spikeor are all from Masters of the Universe. And those are ones that I'm going to do eventually. I also have a full head pumpkin mask that we could do tonight.
Yay.
A skeleton chest that we will sculpt and mold this evening. An ape, that's been on the list for a while, and a frost giant. A frost giant. And if that one is picked, then I actually have to, real quick, pull some images off the internet, because I don't have a reference for that. I used to, but I've switched computers since then.
So, Enigma is taking his job very seriously, and thus far, Pumpkin Boy is winning.
By how much?
It does not say. He says, I wish it was Clawful, but Pumpkin Boy won.
Well, it's not time yet.
Yeah, we got
It's
a couple minutes
7:45. Yeah, you have time. So if you want someone else to win, and for the record, Enigma, this is your choice. You are the electoral college of the Stilt Beast Live Creepers, okay? You're the electoral college. We are all telling you what we want, and then you're going to do what you want, if that's how elections work.
Micro Halloween says, I need a new video idea. I can't get anything for my walkthrough. Anyone have ideas?
He needs a what?
A new video idea. I can't get anything for my walkthrough. Anyone have ideas?
I don't know what you mean by a new. I don't know what you mean. What kind of walkthrough are you talking? Are you talking about Halloween?
Halloween Lifer says, hello all, what did I miss?
We're figuring out what I'm going to sculpt tonight. You guys are voting, and you're going to pick.
Cowbub says, I choose none. Chitara.
A full head pumpkin mask is a possibility. Full head pumpkin, Hordak, Clawful, Spikeor, skeleton chest, a chest piece, not a mask, ape, and a frost giant. Any of those things I could sculpt this evening.
Chris the Carolina Haunter says, I'm just watching Kevin Smith on Twitch. He was talking about the He-Man today.
As he should. Yeah, he's like a random person that I didn't know I was Facebook friends with until he commented on something. And then someone said, they messaged me and they're like, you're friends with Kevin Smith? I'm like, I don't know. Let me go look. Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
Lisa Arndt says, my entire family watching on the big screen during dinner. Wednesday night bingo. Woot.
And is your whole family voting? I hope your whole family is voting.
Third Degree Terror says, don't be hating on me, but no more Masters of the Universe.
You know what? I am so happy with how Web Store turned out. I think he looks great.
Michael Astor says, dang, I'm not even going to threaten banning. I'd have to ban 75% of the people here that voted against me. Enigma says, cough, cough, insert bribe here, cough. Chris, oh, I lost it. Chris Gary Rose Elrod says, what's the vote for?
To see what I sculpt tonight. Everything that I mentioned are things that I might sculpt this evening. And it might not get 100% finished tonight, but it's definitely going to be well along its way to being done, and you guys can see the process. We have 1 minute left to get your vote in. You could pick a full head pumpkin, Hordak, Clawful, Skeleton Chest, a Spike or a Frost Giant. All of these are possibilities for this evening.
Britannis Large says, lamprey face tube mask. I might be biased.
Well, that's done.
That's,
we did that. Like, that's finished. This is the mold for it.
That's what that cake is right
Yeah,
there.
this is molded.
Enigma says, capybara mask is what the people want.
I don't, you have to pick from the list.
Courtney Lane Clafford says, Alan's trying to get the vote changed with that speech.
Which speech?
We talking about Frost Giant stuff.
Frost Giants are cool.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Scott Colehart, for dropping the shop link.
So, and I don't have anything prepped because I don't know if I'm doing a half mask or if I'm doing a whole head mask or if I'm doing a chest.
Hello, Julie B.
Hello, Julie.
Big Dog Bass says, okay, what is Alan doing with Loctite?
Oh, okay, so let me talk you through this bit of a process. I'm making my molds thinner now, and to do that, sometimes they don't always have a flat top. So what I do is I put Loctite foam on top of the mold, just so that I can shape it and flatten it out, and then the mold will rest flat on this bed of Loctite foam.
My bad, the Electoral College speech was trying to get people to change their minds.
Just saying, Electoral College.
Ezekiel says, Frost Giant or Pumpkin? Do we need to bring out the Tim Tams?
Oh.
Cobweb says, let's call Damn It Rob and hear his vote.
Currently, I'm back on the keto, so no Tim Tams for me for a while.
I am not on the keto, send all your Tim Tams to me. Warmonger says, it better be a pumpkin or I'm taking my toys and going home.
With a name like Warmonger, why wouldn't we possibly think you would get along with those?
Rodney Post says, if you do a skeleton chest, I want dibs on the first one. Big Duck says, thanks, that's what I thought. Halloween Lifer says, I thought you were making a turd head mask with the foam. I just gave you an idea.
You did not give me an idea. I assure you.
Oh, snap. Frost Giant it is.
What?
Frost Giant.
Really?
Really, really.
Wow, okay. I get to make...
Frost
I
Giant
never-
was a late up-and-comer.
I never thought you guys would go for Frost Giant.
Is that a Masters of the Universe?
No, it's not Masters of the Universe. It's actually... No, a Frost Giant is a pretty general thing, but I'm picking the one from a Conan game. And Stacy, I'm going to need you to talk to these folks and entertain them for a few moments
Okay, well, you
while I pull up those reference images.
Because there's obviously two sculpt, whatever, it always works. Scott Brady picked Stacy. Yes. He's gonna
Sculpt Stacy.
It's just round. So today has been a learning, adventuresome day. So I am, for all I'm out here, most of the stuff I do in the shop traditionally is mostly the sewing, and I do some painting and stuff on the regular, but I'm still getting into the molding and sculpting portion of things. So this mold, we learned a fun new fact today about molding with, is this hydrocal or ultracal?
It's any kind of plaster.
Any kind of plaster. If it's been sitting in your car all day in Texas, where it's quite warm, it will actually kick a lot faster. So the very first batch of plaster that I mixed for this mold, I'm, feeling good, doing the thing, splashing it on, and all of a sudden, it's dead in the bowl. And I'm like, what the, what? Like I didn't think I mixed this especially heavy. Felt like I had a pretty good grasp on how that was supposed to mix. As it turns out, if it's really warm in the bucket, the powder by itself is sure gonna kick a lot faster. As fast as if you use really hot water with it. So we're gonna see. Hopefully, it did not entirely ruin this mold. And if it did once, we're just gonna be resculpting a new toothpaste.
Yeah, if you did ruin it, then look at all the things I learned sculpting the first one.
So much learning. so we'll see. We'll probably come out a little later tonight and see if we'll pull some clay out of it, and hopefully that goes all right. But yeah, learning all sorts of fun new things in the shop. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Can I tell them about what you're doing, putting up on the
Yes,
website?
ma'am.
So one of the things that's getting put up on the website tonight is the Sculpting Tools. And a thing that we were in the process of doing today is Alan recording little demo videos for each of the new sculpting tools, so that when you, eventually the videos won't go up until a little bit later, but the tools should be up this evening. When you go and visit the site, there'll be a little video explaining what each particular tool does, and so you can kind of see what you like, what they do, and make a good informed choice on that.
You're getting some reinforcing. It's all good, Stacy. You're learning, Stacy.
I only cried a little. It was fine.
Some of the best things are learned from mistakes.
That's
So
true.
you're getting a lot of reinforcement. So,
No
doing
learning tools.
awesome.
Crushing your enemies, driving them before you hear the lamentation of the Lord.
Yes.
Yes, that is exactly. Also, if you guys have never seen Conan the Barbarian the musical, go to YouTube after you get off of this live and go watch it.
Don't spread that heresy.
It's hilarious.
That's-
It's hilarious.
Conan is not meant to be hilarious. That's not what Conan is for.
Listen. I'm just saying it's worth it.
Conan is serious. It's a way of life.
Christopher was like, cue the epic Conan soundtrack. Yes. Or Mars, the shop seems exceptionally clean tonight. Well,
It's temporary.
temporarily, we
I haven't
have
started working
we
yet.
have been cleaning, trying to clean as we go. I did get to pour up my first masks today, which was fun, and so far they look like they're doing all right. We'll pull a pumpkin head later and see if it was just Susan Tide. No Conan musical. Listen. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not the whole movie. It's not the whole thing. It's a short little thing, but it is on YouTube and it is really funny. Big Dog is taking my Tim Tams away. This is bad, Stacy. No Tim Tams for you.
Let's qualify. Stacy thinks it's funny.
I think it's funny. I don't know if you've seen me on any of these, but I think everything is funny.
well, I'll be checking that out. It's musical.
Crush your
Okay,
enemies,
so-
see them through the people you.
Okay,
the
so-
limitation of the women.
We need to get this flat topped while it's shapeable. And this is something that you could do, I think, while you're reading comments.
Okay. Ezekiel, why does everything have to end up as a musical? No. Sparrow's Cave, I want to make an evil snowman and call him Bad Mr. Frosty.
Ezekiel, weren't you just saying the other day how much you love the Sound of Music soundtrack? Weren't you saying that? Didn't I see that on your feed? You were discussing its merits?
Oh my gosh, please read this. Oh, please read this. Please read
Something like your kids were doing it, and you were so proud and happy, if I recall.
Big Dog says, smash the thumbs up. Yes, guys. Drop us a like. 1980 says, one day I still use Play-Doh set for the young crawlers to learn how to make stuff.
Ah,
Limelight tips, Lord. Ezekiel says, have you been watching Ted Haynes, Frankenstein's Monster Build? So cool.
Yes, I have. Yep. Ted Haynes is awesome, man. He's a great guy.
Rachel Powell says, seems a trash bag and a small board would make it easier to flat top that.
Yep, I was actually just thinking that as I was walking away from it.
Is that a thing you want me to do?
No, it's fine.
Bridget the Witch, the hills are alive.
Oh.
Poison Sumac saw a picture of a white furry tarantula. All I could think of was Yeti spider.
All fun and games till somebody breaks out a Yeti spider.
Ezekiel, oh my god, sounds of music out of the mouth of a 7-year-old. Insert coat hanger in ear now. See? Warren agrees with me.
What did Warren say?
The Secretary says, oh my god, Stacy started watching Conan the Barbarian the musical. Pure magic. Was I lying? Was I lying? I was not. Warmonger says, foam birthday cake. Cobweb says, earache my eye. Hello, Finn Godwolf.
Oh, Warren. You can always rely on Warren. If it's bad, he is championing the bad. You know, you can always depend on Warren. He will always come through for you.
Moon 20 plays. Hi, sorry I'm late.
It's all good, homie. Image crop.
Pat.
So Greece says there's no such thing as bad.
Limelight Jim says, I'm partial to Evil Dead the musical myself. Ooh, me too. Me too.
Oh, that's fun.
But I can't sing literally any of it because it's all pretty sweary.
Oh, yes.
So this is me being good and not singing it. But my favorite song in that is What the F Was That? I did. Listen, I'm allowed to abbreviate, okay? Rodney Pope says, is there any way we can blame Rob for the plaster today? Sure. He wasn't here to take another Alan's car.
Absolutely.
And I don't unload cars quickly. Like a speedy unloading of the vehicle, I'm not your guy.
Ezekiel says, if I have to see any musical ever again, it will be too soon. Wham. It's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. Limelight Jim says, that's my favorite too. Yep. Christopher Lazat, Repo the Genetic Opera is a good horror-esque musical. Yes. Also, apparently the guaranteed way to get you a goth girlfriend is to just tell her that Zydrate comes in a little glass vial. Oh no. It's gonna make it difficult for me to read comments.
Hold on. There is a button that makes.
Just a moment, guys. We'll get back to comments momentarily.
Okay. Yep. We're gonna have to do this the other way.
Ooh.
I think this is my best shot. I think.
Halloween Lifer says, you're destroying Turd Head. Maybe he's just military now with that flat top. Private parts, Turd Head, first class. All right.
No, sir.
Moon 20 plays says, how are you guys today?
I'm pretty awesome.
Doing all right.
Making good grades.
Making good grades.
All right,
Third
I
grader says, normally I hate musicals too, Ezekiel, but hearing Arnold sing to Crom and the chorus belting Hear the Lamentation of the Women is awesome. Good evening, Jay Sparrow. Nice to remember the Coco Vid Still Beast Horror Picture Show. Yes. Cobweb says, I can suffer through Grease, but only for Olivia Newton-John. Look, I just read him as I see him, okay?
Okay. Let's start sculpting a half mask.
Close enough for government work. Hello, John C.
So the real question now is, do I have enough clay?
Britannia's Lark says, hello, Shannon.
Laugh. 5 stack and everything.
Hi, Mom.
5.
5 and 6. That's
Micro Halloween says, wow.
30.
Skin and Bones says, hey, everyone.
5.
Cobweb says, flip the whole mold upside down on the phone.
No, I don't want to do that because then that's so heavy, it might tip one way or the other because the mold is so heavy, it might unevenly crush the foam, if that makes any sense.
My mom says, hi.
Hello, Stacy's mom.
Halloween Lifer says, have you ever casted your version of Retro Monsters?
You mean sculpted? Yes, I've sculpted Frankenstein, I haven't sculpted a straight Dracula, but I've done lots of Nosferatus. I've made a lot of monsters.
So many Wolfmans and Werewolves.
Yeah, maybe 50 different Wolfmen I've sculpted and molded.
Robin Bryan says, I'm gladly help any of you creepers through any musicals you need help with. Mr. Jazierski says hi.
Hello, Misty.
Third Degree Terror says, Alan, can you show your references before you get going?
Absolutely. Stacy, why don't you grab the phone and go over there, and I have one up pretty big, and that's the one I like the best. If you would leave it like that, or you could scroll through all the others.
Okay.
There's a video game called Conan Exiles. And Conan Exiles, it's a video game, and I really like the look of the frost giants in it. And I just, you can click on each one.
Okay, I thought you said leave that one alone. So I was
No,
like,
I just put it back when you're done.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, that's the smallest image. And it's all digital images of the same one. So it's not like I have a lot of different facial expressions to worry about. There's like 4 or 5 in the game, and they're all kind of copies of each other. And boy, do they punch you hard when they get angry.
so it's this guy or the other one? That-
Yeah, no,
that one?
That one. Make it bigger,
How's that?
a little bigger,
A little bigger?
a little bigger. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my reference, and I just like that look. I like his color. Those tusks are really fun, and I will probably have to sculpt the interior teeth and mold those, and then do the tusks separately.
Leg went, ugh.
I'm gonna plug the phone back in so it do not die.
Oh, sorry. Ronnie Pope says, Shan, can you put my, oh my gosh. Thank you, Cobwebs. $50. Throw this on Pope's hammerhead.
Pope has already paid for his hammerhead.
Hey, Ronnie just said, Shan, can you put a hammerhead on my shelf?
Hammerhead's on your shelf, Rodney, ready to go.
Cobwebs says, whenever he breaks into North by Northwest, they're getting punched in the throat.
Cobwebs, can I throw a blank into your order for you to paint and to make my wife work more?
1980 says, I thought he was talking Thor Frost Giants. Enigma says, hey guys, what's Alan sculpted tonight? Just kidding. Britannia says, so that would make really good Fomorians for us. You have my full attention. Sir.
Yes, yes. And there's a lot of things that this could be. It could be a nice orc. There's a lot of good options.
Pablo Brian says, you mean you already have a sculpt that does that? Lisa Arndt says, Blue Beast Man, I know why you like it.
He's not a blue beast man. He has a different head structure a little bit. I like monsters. That's what's happening. I like monsters. listeners.
Kyle Webb says, nah, just keep it big, because I have no latex paints.
Well,
Thank you very much. Keeping us in TikToks. Good evening, Larry Hughes. Ronnie Pope says, thank you, Shannon. John C. says, cobwebs is just generous.
whenever I, Cobwebs is kind of awesome.
True.
When's your next video coming out, Cobwebs?
It's going to be an epic unboxing.
Oh yeah, an unboxing is coming your way soon, I bet.
Limelight Dim says, I have a monster permanently inked into my arm now.
Awesome.
He says, I was thinking blue orc, actually.
It is a little blue orc. Yeah, it is a little orky. But the tusks are a different setup than the typical WoW orc tusks.
So far,
I like how skinny they are, kind of. And there's no way that I can do that necessarily on this sculpture. What I'll do is I will sculpt them in monster clay, and I might even get to that tonight because this is not a very complex sculpture.
Cobweb says, Friday is my haunt box.
Oh, cool.
Halloween Lifer says, I'm not offended with Masters of the Universe and still have all my originals stored. Bring them on, yo.
You know what? This is just this time with everything that's happening. I started looking back at some simple joys, and I think a big part of my design sense and my love of monsters came from Masters of the Universe. Like, I know the very image that made me like Beastman, and it was in one of the mini comics where he's swinging through the forest. It's my background on my computer now, by someone Alcala, and then I work with an Alcala.
Ross Richard says, sorry I'm late, what are we sculpting?
We are sculpting a frost giant from a video game series, well, a video game called Conan Exiles.
Line Cook Thor says, I'm thinking about getting Whiplash.
Well, you're speaking to a biased party, but I think you ought to.
Enigma says, yes, come to the dark side, Alan, for foil clay.
What?
Foil clay?
Oh, well, I use it for little stuff, but I don't like cleaning it out of the mold.
Big Dog says they're like walrus tusks upside down.
Put one of those bags of clay right here.
Okay.
Even the board is doing the same thing that I talked about because
Yeah.
it just didn't go as flat. Put it right there.
Here. Stay. Thank you, Kelly O'Brien, aka Skin Bones.
Hey,
It's
thanks.
$2.
Skin and bones.
Ezekiel says, my flocking machine arrived today. My werewolf can finally be finished.
Oh, that's so awesome, man. I'm excited for that. And I've really enjoyed using the flocking machine, and you're going to see a video from me here shortly where I do flocking. And would you fill me one of those other bags of clay as I need it for this face?
Bring you two. These are small. Small.
Probably enough. You guys have a good view?
Ronnie Pope says, this group is one of the most generous groups I've been a part of.
Do you guys have a good view of all this? Or just the sculpt? Okay, just the sculpt, that's fine.
John C. told Micro Halloween, more videos, please, thanks. And Micro Halloween said, glad someone remembers me. Of course I remember you.
Yeah. Who said that?
Micro Halloween.
No.
I subscribed to your channel, Micro Halloween. Cat Swift says, watch the $10 mask upgrade vid. Gonna get my feet wet doing something like that as gifts for a couple of kids who work with me.
That's awesome.
Oh, wonderful.
You know what? That is a great gift. That is a great idea to do those as gifts. Truly. I didn't think about doing it as a gift.
Take pics and show us, Cat
But
Swift.
yeah.
We want to see.
Justin messaged me and he said he really liked that mask. A lot of folks. Well, he's on here a lot. I don't know if he's on here right now, but
Ross Richard says, can you sculpt and shape Loctite foam once it's hard with a rotary tool and files?
you can. It's just way easier when it's wet. So I prefer to just do it while it's not hard.
Christopher Lazat asked, are you going to make the helmet out of EVA?
Yes, probably not tonight. Tonight you'll get the full sculpture, I think.
Web says, work it, boy. Halloween Lifer says, that was shagorific, baby.
That's how I roll, guys. That's how I roll.
Ezekiel says, looking good, slick, don't have a haircut.
You know what? I think I want to keep it for a little while. I used to be a long-haired rugrat. And I honestly, I just got too busy to maintain my hair. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that 20, 30 minutes a day I was using to sleep at the time. I don't do that anymore, so.
Big Dog asked, did Justin get banned?
No,
I don't think so.
no, not at all.
Thor says, good view. Mike Howland says, yay.
There-
Richard
there-
Lynch says, yes, I told you.
There was a different guy who got banned from Latex Mask Central, which is a group that I moderate, but not. No, some people have been banned from here, obviously, but
A
no.
precious few, actually.
Yeah, very few.
Scott Creighton says, Shannon, you must be focused tonight. Getting them works done.
It's the he told him what I'm putting on that.
Yeah.
It's
John C. asks, any cheap masks you think you could flock?
I have some werewolves out there that'll get flocked eventually, so I'll do it for a video. Yeah, coming up tonight. I'm otherwise engaged, but yes.
Thanks, Amy says, play man.
Yes, currently it's a clay golem. At any point in a sculpture early on, every sculpture for a little while is a clay golem.
Ross Richard says, oh my, I'm getting the vapors. The Alanness is too much, must fan myself. Lisa Arndt says, YouTube Wednesday was awesome this week. You would make a great group craft tonight.
It would. Just have a bunch of materials, get a bunch of cheapo masks, and I have a couple ideas for more of those to do. I kind of want to do, so here's why I'm nuts. I want to make more videos. So I was thinking I might have like Transformation Tuesday, where I buy something and transform it, whether that is a costume like from the thrift store, or whether it is a mask like from Spirit Halloween or whatever, but a transformation video every Tuesday, and then YouTube Wednesday. And a lot of people are recommending me that I do a Patreon, and I think I'm going to do that. I don't think that will change my content here any, really. But in this world, I might need a couple more irons in the fire to make sure that what I do is sustainable. And that is an option of a Patreon, is an option of something that I might do.
Scott Colehart posted the link to the Still Be Slide Creepers Facebook group. Definitely
Thank
add
you.
poster projects. We want to see them.
So what that is, the Still Peace Live Creepers group, for anybody, because there are 91 people watching on Facebook, and I know Facebook is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious, all right? I know that. But in Facebook, there's a couple islands of happy, and the Still Peace Live Creepers group, which there's an entry question. The entry question is, how do you test a heat gun?
How do you test it?
How do I test a heat gun? And it's with my hand. I always shoot it at my hand to see if it's hot because I'm an idiot. So on there, though, you guys can share your work. I keep telling you to go make stuff, but it's not fair or right if I never get a chance to see what you're making.
Almatra Art asks, any chance you'll do a Manny Faces? Would love to see the process of figuring out how to make it switch faces.
Yes, so that would be actually a couple of sculptures, and I already kind of have the idea of how I would do that. And it involves, obviously, some rigging.
Ronnie Cook says, I need to get one and do one of the ghost masks you made.
Yeah. I mean, those plastic masks, they're like $10, and there are versions of them at the dollar store. I just don't like their straps as much. because they're at the dollar store. If you're going to upgrade the straps anyway, then sure, use one of those.
Cat Swift says, I've given them terrain gifts and I really liked them. They're not really judgmental about the coofs, so I feel good trying them out.
Hooray.
Third Grade Terrace says, I love the aesthetic of the scarecrow mask you made in YouTube Wednesday videos. So
Yeah, I wanted to change it up. Let's do it something a little bit different, more of a nature spirit vibe.
John C says, any old pics of you without the beard?
In my youth, I looked like Tonto, okay? Had dark, straight hair, no beard, I was svelte. Yeah, so there are. You know what? I'll post a few old pictures in the Creepers group. The Still Peace Live Creepers group. That's what I'll do.
Ezekiel says, my daughter was watching YouTube Wednesday whilst my son was training, and she was yelling out, Dad, we need some cheap masks. Alan's got a video on it.
That's awesome.
Sorry, Shannon, I cut you off.
Oh, no, I was saying, I've got a picture of us at the Chamber.
Okay, yes. I'm not necessarily thin or much younger in that one. I guess I'm 10 years younger.
2005.
2005.
Dang.
I was 14 years younger? Yeah.
Mike Murphy asks, why do people get banned?
Mostly for being jerks.
On the channel, I don't think we've only had a couple beat jerks, and mostly it's
Yeah.
spammers.
And a lot of times they're doing spam or something. You know, they just want to spam the group.
Limelight Dim says, when I'm finished with my current mask, I think I'm going to do what you did with your Spirit Halloween mask and use EVA clay foam to make a werewolf mask. I love werewolves.
Me too. I'm with you. We're friends.
Thank you, Scott Colhart, for bumping our merch shop. Misty Jazerski says, love the transformation video idea. Connie Pierce says, the YouTube Wednesday was awesome. Lisa Hart says, love that idea. This is the heart and soul of a haunter, modification.
Yeah.
1980 says, remember, if you mess up a paper mache mask, paint it white, goes a spitball. No mistakes, just wrong directions.
Goes a spitball. Okay.
Hugo says,
I've been called worse.
greetings, friends. Let's go to the Sculpt on Wednesday. I missed the schedule.
Let's all go to the All
Sorry,
right.
it says sign me up. Philip Earl says, I really liked Transformation Tuesday, Scarecrow from Cheapo Mask.
Thank you.
Ezekiel says, I wish there was a better pay system for the YouTube vids. I hate how much they take off.
Well, and I'm going to see what Patreon is like because I appreciate it's awesome that you guys appreciate what we're doing so much that you want to help us out and support. I really like that. Thank you. But yes, it would be cool if more of that came to us and was able to go right back into the art or pay the shop's electric bill or whatever, you know, those things.
John C says, I'll never see them. Because he was the Facebook.
Oh, well, John,
Oh, he's not on there.
that's true. You're not.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Ronnie Cook says, hit the thumbs up, guys.
Maybe I'll put a baby Allen picture at the end of one of my videos, John, and see it that.
Michael Halloween says, VR week, go download Facebook. Finn Godwolf says, Shannon, thanks for getting the sculpting tools up on your website. I'll be checking again tomorrow. I'll definitely be placing an order. Enigma says, if I wanted to make a silicone finger prosthetic with a resin nail, is there any way to mechanically bond them?
Hold on. You got to read those slower.
Sorry.
Read that again.
If I wanted to make a silicone finger prosthetic with a resin nail, is there any way to mechanically bond them?
Yes, there is. What you do is when you mold your silicone finger, you put something in it like a push pin so that the head flares out a little bit. You put that in the nail bed and then you mold it. So then your silicone is going to have that indention in the finger where it gets wider. And your resin nail, when you make it, glue the cut off end of a push pin to the back of that. And then your resin nail underneath has that push pin head, and you push that down into there and it'll lock in place.
Britannis Lark can confirm Tonto Allen back in the day. Such things existed along with sword practice using rebar.
Oh yeah!
Ezekiel says, hard to get banned from this group if Peter North can show us with some strange comments. Moving right along, Michael Astor says you'll get banned for not voting my way.
Hey, great job, Stace. You did very well right there.
Rich Powell says, I'm so excited. I get to go back to work tomorrow. We'll be driving a school bus all day since I have 6 routes. I'm like a kid on Christmas Eve.
That's great.
Skin and Bones says, my wife is very creative and loves watching your videos and live shows. We learned so much.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Enigma says, I see, kind of like how eye voids are molded in masks.
Yeah, just like that. It's the same thing. Only you have more leeway because silicone is so resilient and spongy. It's spongy. Yeah.
It's all right. Says, stay safe, Rachel. Yes, seconding that. Please be safe. People drive like crazy.
Ooh, now I gotta take it off. No,
Oh,
no
no,
problem.
too much.
Too much.
I'm sorry. I'm
See,
sorry.
the whole board idea, I don't know. I like it.
You worked
It's
on-
good in theory.
You worked
but-
on board idea.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. I had the idea and then I kind of dismissed it. I'm like, well, if they have the idea, they're smarter than me. Surely that'll work just fine. Yeah, that'll work. It's flat. Flat-ish is what you're going for.
Flat S.
Just kind of ramps down a little. That's okay. I had to get up and get some wire loop tools anyhow. All right. I'm visually making them even. I have one side that's a little puffier than the other, so I'm paring that down a little.
And for Halloween, it's got to go to your charge his phone. BRB.
Hooray! Not hooray that you're leaving, but do it.
We're pro charge phones.
I also like that he wrote, I gag charge my phone. You did good on that one too. You didn't go anywhere with that. That's great.
Well, he immediately corrected. GG, I gotta go. Halloween life was wow. I never heard of that kind of charger. Be careful with that.
I have. It's kind of
Oh God.
called the Cronenberg charger.
Oh no. Michael Astor says, Alan, are you just currently looking into Patreon, or do you have someone helping you with it?
No one's helping me. But I'm going, well, Stacy's helping me, and my wife is helping me, but I don't have like a Patreon expert coming to give me advice or anything. And you know, I don't know that we need it. I think if most folks can figure it out, then I'll be able to figure it out.
Thank you, Third Degree Terror. $10 just because.
Warren, that is very kind of you, sir. I'll stop saying bad things about you.
Oh, gosh, no.
Unless you would like me to continue, in which case I also will continue.
Mike Murphy asked, how do we see the creeper stuff without getting on Facebook?
I don't know of another way, I'm afraid. Like, that was the easiest way.
Is maybe finding a forum or something?
I mean, I guess there's like Discord where we could do something like
Yeah, we could set
that.
up a Discord.
I guess we could start like an imager page, but then multiple people would have to be able to post.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, we could design something like Facebook, or we could just use Facebook. So,
We're working on it.
yeah.
Third Degree Terror says, I live for the abuse.
That's what I heard about you. That's what I heard.
Fondian says, would making a cardboard or poster ring around the mold, then use Silicone, make it easier to level?
Like, this wasn't hard. Had I honestly left it alone and not put the board and the clay on it, I think it would have been fine because I had it level. But I wanted a degree of set it and forget it. And, you know, the Silicone, yes, that would have made it easier to level, but it would have been more work. If you know anything about me, I don't do more work.
Rob O'Brien says, continuing costs extra. Cat Swift says, different is Patreon is an ongoing payment, not a bad thing, whereas Streamlabs and PayPal are one-off payments.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know. This is, I think a lot of folks are weird. I'm weird. I don't know. I'm just now putting a value with this kind of content. This is something that I have done for, I mean, I've been on YouTube for almost 13 years.
Dang.
And it's just something that you do. You share information so that, you know, we can all stand on each other's shoulders.
Halloween Lifer says it's looking a bit like a starter Jeepers Creepers. I can dig that, yo.
Yeah, well, Jeepers Creepers is kind of Jeepers Creepers and Freddy Krueger and Green Goblin. All three of those are like universal starter sculpts because their bone structure is the big jaw bones, the big brow, and then they do something different with the chin or something different with the nose. They're kind of the new universal looks.
Von Diane suggested the ring could be used multiple times.
That's true. That's true.
Ken Zarish says, "Sup, beast, love your work."
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that.
And Katie says, "Think of how life would be different if earthworms could scream." I mean,
I don't normally use those while I'm fishing, so I'd still be good. Normally I use lures.
Cat Swift says it's difficult for many folks to put something out there like they're asking for money. It is okay. No one has to contribute if they want to. You are worth it.
That's very kind, thank you. And that is exactly the struggle that was happening in my head just now. I don't like it. And even if you look at like how I used to do Trans World, it was I made all these masks. If you want one, buy it. You know. And it's different if I am asking for folks. And all the people who work my booth, I constantly tell them, no, don't hard sell. Do not hard sell. If they want it, they'll get it. Tell them to go ask someone else who bought one because they're going to say something good about my product. That's what we do. That's not how we sell things.
Robert O'Brien says, "Content is king." Lisa Gordon Arns says, "Hi guys."
Hey, Lisa. And I don't want to build up a lot in here. I'm trying to build up more on the outside edges. I do want a nice line for this helmet to fit.
Jesse Poppendare says, "Who said worms don't scream? You may just not be able to hear them."
Yeah.
Grass screams, apparently.
Yeah. Plants can scream. 200 plants.
Cat Swift says, "I admin a couple of channels. I know how difficult it is for you. But the lessons we learn from you are worth a lot more than we pay."
Well, I appreciate that. I like making stuff. I like other people to make stuff. And I want the process to be enjoyable, not painful. So if you guys can see some mistakes that I make and not make those or make different mistakes, then that's good.
Or if nothing else, just be aware that it's okay to make mistakes, even if you're good at this.
Yeah. I script all the time.
Sparrow's Cave says, "The chin screams Thanos a bit."
Yeah, any square chin right now will.
Zika says, "Considering how much information I've learned off you, I feel like I've done 3 years of university."
Well, good.
John C. says, "Hello, Alan. Whatever happened to the Silicone Wolfman bib from April 2009, filmed outside Palm Beach Tan?" Uh-oh, you broke it.
I sold it. What happened to that mask you made in 2009? I sold it. That's what I do. I drink and I sell things. And actually, I don't even drink. I don't really drink. So, there you go.
Rich Powell says, "I hate hard sellers. 95% of the time I will walk away from someone trying too hard to sell."
Yeah, I don't. And we had an awesome person in our booth for a while. It was just in her nature to like want to be a seller. Relax. But they might not buy it. And that's awesome. I'd rather them not buy it and then regret it than regret buying it.
Halloween Lifer says, "Your work speaks for itself, but if you have that confidence in your work, like you should, and we know you do, a little marketing and sales does not hurt."
Well, yeah. I've never been good at that.
Graphy UK says, "Hey what's up? Whoa, all right, let's see. Hey guys, what are we sculpting tonight?"
I am sculpting a frost giant modeled after one from the Conan Exiles series.
Ken Zarish asks, "Have you ever tried doing a Jason Voorhees sculpt just for fun?"
No, to me that's not necessarily that fun. Like I don't have a deep, passionate connection to Jason Voorhees. Most of what I sculpt is kind of original monsters or things that there aren't masks of out there a lot already. Yes, I'm sculpting the Masters of the Universe stuff, but I can't get those masks anywhere. It's not like I can buy them. So I kind of have to make it myself if I want one, and I want one. And then, but something like Jason, not only are there Jason masks out there, but this is a Jason 8 mask from the 3rd scene, because his eye droop's different than the one in the 5th scene. And like that happens. The Jason community is huge, and frankly, I just don't care enough to get into it and to start doing those kind of, like that. That's a whole thing. Like the Michael Myers community, they're a community. The Jason community, they are a community. And I almost feel like I would be disrespecting their passion if I got into it without being real serious.
Launcher Art says, wow, already loving that ground line. Amazing how quick it starts to come together.
Yes, it is nice when it comes together quickly.
John C. says about the Werewolf Man from 2009. Just wondering if it was kept to display or used in fonts or with its trail on.
No, I don't have any of the silicone masks that I made. I made about maybe 30 total, and I sold a lot. I sold them, but I didn't keep them.
There's some collector's items now.
You know what?
Love
And
the 30
when I
silicone
moved,
masks.
I threw all those molds away.
Oh my gosh.
Not even when I moved. I think I did that when I revamped my shop to all latex. There was a plethora of silicone mask makers.
Graphic faces. Do you need a Everage?
I do.
The one behind you is that your current?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I actually don't keep any of my masks just to keep. I have not ever really done that. I am thinking now about setting up a shelf somewhere to keep some of my masks. I'm going to do all of the Masters of the Universe villains as mounted heads for my monster museum. And kind of throw them into the story of the monster museum. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I guess the ones that I keep for myself, I put in my monster museum. More so than display at home. But I'm not too much of a knick-knack guy. Lately I've bought more action figures and toys and been gifted them more in the past year than I have in the last 15.
1980 says Wishmaster-esque.
Okay.
Do you want to add some ice in that?
We don't have any ice.
Oh, you're not getting any ice.
Yeah, I got to get ice from the house.
Oh, they're cold. Actually, the magician who used to be my show, Randy Reed, worked on the Wishmaster films.
Yeah, those are good movies. I enjoyed that franchise. I thought Wishmaster versus Leprechaun would have been really fun.
John C. says, just saw a silicone mask online, 600 plain or 1,000 with hair.
Yep.
B. Brown says, do you have a virtual tour of your monster museum?
I don't.
Enigma says, that's a hefty price.
It's actually not. That's not an uncommon price at all. Silicone masks are very expensive, and honestly, the whole reason why I was getting into making silicone masks is I thought that they were too expensive, and I thought that people were using the knowledge gap to rip other people off, and I didn't like that. And I thought, I'm going to make a silicone mask that I can sell for $150. And you cannot make a silicone mask that you can sell for $150. That's what I learned.
Like you tried.
I tried very hard.
Did try.
And I got my prices down where I think I was about $350 for some of those silicone masks that I had made. I don't necessarily like this nasal labial fold, so I'm going to remove this.
Zika says, you've almost converted me to like Masters of the Universe. Almost. I really like Web Store, and I'm on the hunt for a figurine.
It's, you know what, it's the design. And they had some good design, and they made the bravest choices. A guy named Snout Spout who had an elephant head and shot water out of his trunk. They made some really brave choices.
Big Monkey Fez says, hair punching takes a long time.
Okay.
Ken Zarish says Leprechaun versus Chucky.
I would give that to Leprechaun pretty quick. Just because of the whole magical powers thing.
1980 says Warwick Davis is through with Leprechaun, unfortunately.
All right, so if you guys have seen Leprechaun in the Hood 2, this is one of my favorite movie stories, all right? I'm not involved in this movie story, I just really like it. They wanted Warwick Davis to do Leprechaun in the Hood 2, and he said and thought, which I fully understand, that's a terrible idea, that won't be any fun, and no one will watch it. And I do see where he's coming from with that line of thinking. So, he said, okay, I'll do it. Here's my terms. And he wrote ridiculously, I want 5 times the amount of money that I've made for any other movie for this movie. I'm only going to be on set in makeup 1 day. 1 day is all you get. 1 day. And I require backup dancers. He got everything he asked for, and they made the movie. So if you watch Leprechaun in the Hood 2, every scene he is like trapped in a box. They locked him in a box. So it's all the other actors doing a scene with like a mini fridge or a safe that he's locked inside of. Hey, we caught him, and then he's on the other side of the door. So he's not interacting with the cast except for that last day where then they filmed the big final fight scene. And inside of where he's trapped, he has these zombie fly girl backup dancers, which is awesome.
They asked, how many pounds of silicone would you use in your masks?
That was a long time ago. I don't necessarily remember, but I know I would pretty much get a mask out of a 8-gallon kit, which is, or I guess a 16-pound kit, which is a 2-gallon kit. And I would have about a third of that left over. So let's say 5 to 6 pounds to make the mask. That's not how much it weighed at the end, but to make it, that was that.
Halloween Lifers is really liking the Sculpt so far. Kudos.
Hey, thanks.
So John C was talking about that silicone mask, 600 plain or 1,000 with hair. And they said, punching takes a long time. He said it's not hair punched. So if you look at this, it's heck of a markup for hair then.
Yeah, if you're not punching it, then you're just gouging folks for hair, which happens.
Hello, Madeline. She's hello again.
Hey, Madeline. Madeline, did we gain you with the COVID stuff and the costume stuff? Is that how you came on and came about? Because now you hang out with us every now and then, and I like that. I just want to make sure that I have the right kind of content that makes you happy.
Did you ask Big Dog a question? He says, yep, I have.
I asked if people had seen Leprechaun in the Hood 2.
1980 says Freddy versus Chucky would be fun.
Yes.
Ezekiel says, I'd love to redo the audio and voices for the cartoon of the original Masters of the Universe. I think it's their voices that puts me off.
The voices put a lot of people off. I'm actually not a huge fan of the cartoon itself. I am a fan of the action figures and the world of the mini-comic. The mini-comics, much more so than the cartoon.
Jay Sparrow says Warwick Davis is man.
Like, to me, Prince Adam doesn't exist. Like, I don't agree with Prince Adam.
Ken Zarish says, we're having the Leprechaun in Space being made. In 1980, almost immediately responded, Leprechaun in Space was made. It was the third or fourth installation of Leprechaun.
Yeah, it was before Leprechaun in the Hood 2.
David says, hello.
Hello.
Ezekiel, John is talking to Ezekiel about the web store. He said, I can send one to Alan, maybe he can send it to you.
Or he can pick it up when he comes into the States.
Sure.
Or when he comes to Monster Camp.
We'll start at a shelf.
He already has a shelf.
Yeah, Ezekiel already has a shelf.
Ezekiel has a shelf.
He's got stuff here waiting for when he comes to the States. Because shipping to Australia just does not make sense.
Chris the Carolina Hunter says, Mark Hamill is voicing Skeletor in the reboot.
I heard that. Yeah, the animated reboot, yes.
Christopher Lazat says the Masters of the Universe toy box art looked better than the cartoon.
Yes, well, of course it does, because like a static painting is far easier to do than the animation. Filmation did those.
Halloween Lifer says Chucky would win every time. Miss Freddy wouldn't even manifest. As Chucky is a doll, doesn't need sleep.
Chucky has the soul of a person.
That's true.
He has the soul of a convicted killer. So
They'd tag team and have the most awkward buddy cop movie, like murder and mayhem.
I get a lot of undertones when someone says buddy cop. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
But yeah, the words buddy cop makes me uncomfortable. And generally I like the police.
That is Tony's favorite movie genre.
Buddy cop movies?
Buddy cop movies.
Really?
He's in. Actually, he says Chucky does sleep. He can be tranquilized.
Yeah, that's right. And can you change pictures for me and just make it that big, whatever it is?
Okay. How about that one?
Yeah, make it big. That's good.
Halloween Lifer says that is just a horrible writing error in terms of Chucky being able to be tranquilized.
Well, yeah.
Ezekiel says meeting tonight with the Minister of Royal Finance for more masks.
Hooray! I wish you luck in your endeavors.
Madeline says, I've got to run, but silly me, I'll have to come back to re-ask where to find that peacock dress info. I went to your Facebook, but just didn't see it. I was looking as well for something like Creature. Ciao for now. And we'll be here when you get back, Madeline.
Ciao.
Ciao. Limelight says, did lips for days.
Yeah, they get toned down. Not too much though. He actually has some lips on him.
Chad Flyboy says, hey guys.
Hi.
Everyone said very nice things about the peacock dress.
Oh yeah. Well, the peacock dress is great. Dress and it's peacock.
It is so peacock. Hello, Justin Rudy.
Hey, Justin.
Limelight says, I love it. It's very unique. Ezekiel says, honestly, if someone needs anything off my shelf right now, Shannon, please let them. I can wait.
Yeah, Lord knows when you're coming out. We have no idea. Yeah, so this was put together pretty quick, in all honesty. Like I've got a lot of my bones and my primary forms set on this guy right now.
Good night, Rodney Pope.
And he looks a little weird and sad because of how his mouth is shaped, but once it's full of teeth, it'll get better.
He's going to be up at 4:30 a.m. for work.
Good night.
I do not miss that at all.
I went to work once. It's terrible.
Cat Swift. Stacey saw the dress. Brilliant. Thank you. It is hands down the thing I am the most proud of. I mean, that's all right with kids and stuff. Like, I made this. Hey. You made kids too. I made at least one of them.
Yeah, you might not have made all of them, but you're in charge of the maintenance plan.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm pretty sure that
I helped.
you're the good things coming from.
Ezekiel says, who was the peacock dress for? The gal who's wearing it in the pictures. That's my friend Farah, and she orders all of the very best things for me. We are friends on Facebook. I have a whole album of pictures called Things I Make for Farah. And it is full of those things. Chad Flyboy says, not long now and I'll be in class with you guys. Can't wait.
Cool.
Rodney Pope says, not often, thank God. He has to go to work that early. Howard Langford says, I'm working right now as I watch you live.
Hooray. Multitasking.
1980 says, Apocalypse? Question.
Yeah, it's one of those square-headed guys with a big jaw. Thanos, Apocalypse, Darkseid.
Body Geek says greetings and hallucinations.
It might be even worse when he's blue. Hello, Body Geeks.
He says that a seriously amazing dress. Super impressed.
Why are all those guys blue? Apocalypse is blue. Thanos is blue. Darkseid is blue.
Van Gogh says, yeah, that peacock dress is beautiful, Stacey. Thanks, Phil. Justin Reader says, Alan, would you mind elaborating on how to mold the hook? Something that skinny, I can't grasp how the process would go.
Okay, so understand that I'm going to draw this sideways, okay? And I'm going to draw it real quick and I'll hold it up. So Justin asked me a question earlier about something and how it would be molded. So what he wants to mold is like a hook hand, i.e. Candyman, stump, hook. That's basically what he wants to sculpt and mold. The way that you do it, one way that you do it, not the only way, one way. Okay, so this is your hook. This is a board. This is like a 2x2 inside of that you sculpt it around. And then this is all sculpture, and this is because the hook is facing straight forward, you don't see the hookiness. But if I turned it, you would. But this is a drawing, so that doesn't work. But, so now you take this, and see how I have a lot of room here? That is so that you can screw that to a table. So this is a table now, and you have screwed this piece of wood to the table, and you have whatever structure you have to have in here so this doesn't droop or fall apart or anything. And then you build a box around over the hook, okay? So it's tall enough. You've made a full box. You fill it up with plaster to the halfway point, liquid plaster, and you're making a box mold. You let this dry. While it's still wet, you'll take out some keys by making some keys in it, okay, in the plaster. And then you will pour plaster over the rest of it. And then you have a 2-half mold, which this has been up against the board. So when you take this half off, you can clean out all the clay. That's how you mold it. You're making a box mold.
He will know this, but Vaseline first, like before you pour the second half.
Yeah, just like you would any 2-piece mold. Separate your layers, kids.
Oh, there you go, enigma. 1980 says I could have said Mongol. For your
So who?
1980 says that's weird. I could have said Mongol.
I don't know Mongol.
John C says oxygen deprivation makes monsters rude and cranky.
Yeah.
Body Geek says I like it. Which Masters of the Universe is this?
It's not a Masters of the Universe, actually.
Surprise!
This is a giant from a video game. It's a frost giant from a video game.
And he says, don't forget to release the mold, though. Yep. Kenny P says, hello, everyone.
Hello, Kenny P.
Skin and Bone says, this is why you're so good, Alan.
Oh, I ain't good. I just play a good person on YouTube's. All right, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3.
Mongol is Darkseid's former general, big yellow guy.
Okay. Or Cull Obsidian is a very similar head structure too. Cull Obsidian, who works for Thanos, actually. He's Thanos' muscle.
Limelight said, oh God.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah, Limelight. Are you...
I said 1, 2, 3.
You have to kill your babies. Kill your darlings.
Yeah. Basically, I wanted to build this out a little bit more so that I had more room to build those teeth.
Justin Reedy says, I see, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yep. You're using the fact that plaster is a liquid and that you can screw it down to do all those things.
Halloween Lifers says, I just watched a low-budget film last night called Mother Promise. I actually enjoyed it, considering I wasn't expecting much from it.
Okay, I might look it up.
Third Grade Terrace says, I love it when you slide off entire chunks.
You know what? It's necessary sometimes. But look at what that did for me. You know, that really pushed that bottom jaw out. And now I get to build out the mouth a little bit and add some interest to that. And I've got plenty of room for those beautiful teeth to come on. Wife, how are things?
They are rapidly getting to the point where I will need your brain. So we reached a stopping point.
Okay.
And we'll be ready for the video demos that we're going to talk there for the Sculpt.
Cool.
So
I'm going
1980
to tell them about that.
says, chin up, it'll be fixed in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Letting them know that there's going to be a demo on here.
Yeah.
Right, Michael Lassiter.
Yeah, we haven't incorporated video much into the website yet, and we are for the sculpting tools. I think it's important to show how they. Now, every sculptor kind of has their own way of doing things, so it's obvious. I've been sculpting for almost 30 years, so I have a way of doing. This is what you're watching. Is you're watching the Alan Hobbs way of making a mask. It's not the best way, and maybe it's not your way. But like Bob Ross had a system. He had a formula for how he made oil paintings and landscapes. I have a system and a formula for how I make masks. So like my sculpting tools may not make sense to some people right away, and that is why I'm going to do the video to show you here's what I do with it, but you do what you do with it.
Finn Godwolf says, even Mick Jagger could say this frost giant has some big arch lips.
The lip isn't that big. The jaw is big, but the bottom lip really isn't that big.
Bridget the
And
Wench.
It's going to get toned down.
Dot, dot, dot. Just put his mouth on his head.
Yeah, I did that. Yes. Yeah.
Halloween Life said, sorry, I was browsing your shop and noticed the Krampus masks. That's my previous oddball comment.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I like Krampuses. Like Krampuses are kind of my thing. Wolfmen, werewolves, and wolfmen are kind of my thing, and Krampuses are kind of my thing.
Michael Astor says, night folks, I go back to work tomorrow after being sick for a week, so I need to get to bed.
Good night, sir, and I'm glad you feel better.
Bridget the Wench says, it's the Crimson Chin.
Boy, that is a chin. I dropped the sculpting tool. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
There we go. If it stays on the floor more than 20 seconds, my dogs could F it.
Oh man, yeah. Bruce Campbell's getting jealous.
Oh yeah, we will name this monster Leno.
We'll name this over Zadar. Robert Zadar.
I don't know who that is.
Lisa Art asks, will he have icicle accents like Jack Frost?
Maybe. Some will. Now all of this needs to get toned down. It looks a little bit like a Wallace and Gromit type character, doesn't it? But it all gets toned down. This is the heaviest these features will be. Now we rake.
Ronnie Geek says, I'm heading back to Kentucky tomorrow for work. Maybe I can stop by on my way back to grab the dibs mask from the other night.
Which was your dibs mask? Honey?
Sorry?
Which mask did Body Geeks get? Body Geeks, which mask did you get?
I don't have a mask.
Body Geeks, what did you want to buy from us? Have we invoiced you?
I do not have anything for Body Geeks. This happened when I was working, let me know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Next 80 says, Jay Leno was looking good.
He is not in my queue. His shelf is empty.
Oh. Shoot him a message or something and figure that out. Because I can have it ready, I just gotta know what it is.
I don't remember, what was it called?
Body
What
Geeks.
was it?
I called him first.
Huh?
The one that everyone was fighting over the first one of. No, I don't know.
Is this Monday night?
I'll have to go back and watch. Next day says the Rock Munchers from Neverending Story.
Oh, that's a similar look. Yeah,
We
that's
did
a
just
similar
watch
look to
that.
this.
I think I must not have been in the house that night. Because there's nobody like not have any notes on.
Body geeks, send us an email with the mask that you want, because obviously we haven't invoiced you for it. So let's take care of that, and then I'll get it made real quick.
1980. I'm sorry, I missed that already. Gregory Haynes asked, Alan, what is the difference between a werewolf and a wolf man? And will the WWF work for both?
WWF, World Wildlife Fund.
That's
So, all right. Understand that I own a monster museum. All right. So yes, I have an answer for this. A werewolf is the half-human form, and they have the long snout, and they have the long ears, and they're often bigger. They have gotten extra power and gifts. Now, this is not movie stuff. This is old lore. A werewolf has made a deal with the devil. Often, a criminal would he would be trying to flee from people who were trying to get him, like he was almost found out or captured, and he would be fleeing through the forest. And a tall, thin man in a long, dark coat with goat legs underneath, called the Dark Man of the Forest. Most of this is from a book called called Werewolves by Daniel Cohen, which was one of my favorite books as a kid. But the Dark Man of the Forest story is pretty consistent with how historical werewolves said that they became a werewolf. Guys like Peter Stubb, and there's a few others. If you haven't read up on Peter Stubb, do it, because it's cray-cray. Anyway, so a werewolf turns into a big hybrid form or straight wolf form, and they get their powers from making a deal with the devil, basically. They are bad people who want more power to do more bad things. A wolfman is someone who is cursed. A wolfman is cursed into changing. They have no control over their form. Yeah, they don't have any control over their form. The moon is what makes them change. And they want to hurt the ones they love. So that's why there's kind of two big flavors. Werewolves and wolfmen are just different. And you can become a werewolf, a wolfman, I should say, by being cursed. You can become a wolfman if you are bitten by a werewolf. You will be cursed. Now, down the road, can a wolfman become a werewolf if he enjoys and he looks at it as a gift? Yeah, he could become a werewolf.
Can't you also drink the water out of a
If you drink water out of a wolf's paw print, you could become a wolfman. Yes.
Lisa R says yes, like Jacob Marley. Enigma says he looks like me when I'm hungry.
I'll not respond sense.
Thank you, Alma. Good night, Scott Creighton. Call it a night.
Did Body Geeks disappear after saying that he was buying something?
He says no invoice, not even sure it was named. Ellen was live on his own. Arg, I can't believe I don't remember.
Well, I just have to look back. Honey, can you look up when I was live on my own?
So that wasn't Monday, because I was here.
You here Monday night?
No.
No, it wasn't
No,
here Monday.
you weren't.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so
Monday,
look
we
up
were doing
Monday.
the Hammerhead Shark Monday night. But Rodney Cook, you said Rodney Cook had the Hammerhead Shark. Did they both try to dance on the Hammerhead Shark together?
You'll have to do some research. I don't know. I don't know.
You were here.
I was here.
I was not here.
What was I working on
Rodney
Monday?
says it was not the shark. Oh my God.
See?
All right. Halloween Lifer says, do you paint your blanks that you have for sale in your shop for an extra fee, or are they basically as is?
Well, I have blanks for sale if you want to paint them. And then 9 out of 10 times, that blank is also a mask for sale in the mask section. So you could just buy the mask. But yes, yeah. The blank is normally, for a half mask, is normally $30. and that mask painted and strapped is normally $75.
Ezekiel says, "Oh, now to the crossroads."
Crossroads, yeah.
Justin Rudy says, "The mask you made for the $10 spirit mask, did you name it? Also, would you be willing to make one for a customer, aka me? Maybe make him into a bust?"
That's possible. I mean, that's a $10 mask, man. It's a $10 mask from Spirit Halloween. Justin, you sculpt things, you mold things. You can make that. Like, I literally showed you how in a vidya.
Al Mantra, woohoo! Just bought a sculpting tool set. Can't wait. Thanks,
Oh,
thanks.
Al, thank you so much. I appreciate
We
that.
haven't got the demo up yet, Al.
Demo's coming.
Cat Swift says, "I love nerd talk. Normal folks have no idea what they're missing out on."
You know what? This is,
This is 4 hours of video on the thing.
yeah,
No.
yeah. Get to work, wife.
The worm mask.
What?
The worm mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Was I sculpting on
The toothy worm.
the toothpaste?
Body Geeks is calling it the worm.
It had a bunch of teeth, right?
It's tough.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so I guess
That's
we'll have to
fine.
hope this.
That's
this
fine.
one turns out okay.
That's what I'll make you. We molded your mask today. Yeah.
Jerry Collins says, "Hi,
Sorry.
Stacey and Alan."
Hi, Jerry Collins. Jerry Collins said what?
Hi, Stacey and Alan.
Oh, hi.
It's toothpaste.
Luis Rolando Ramirez Manuel says, "Fantastic. Saludos desde Mexico."
Hooray.
Fantastic.
Saludos
Hi
de
from
Tejas. De Tejas. I think. I don't know if I said that right.
Celeste Kitty says, "As a cryptozoologist, pretty much I agree."
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say I know my monsters, but I do own a monster museum, and monsters are kind of my life. Like, they're what I do.
1980 said, "I think it was cobwebs that said he was interested." Ezekiel asked, "Was it Shikumo? Spiderhead body geeks?" John C.S., "What if I step in werewolf and track it in the house?" Just asking for a friend, honest.
Then you make your wife angry because she's got to clean it up.
Justin Rudy says, "I can't make it like you, though."
I bet you could, but yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Brian says, "That alone got a thumbs up." 1980 says, "The Sarlacc," so yeah, must be the one we just molded. John C. says, "Hello, Shannon."
You know what?
Let's see.
And there is a YouTube channel that's done by a friend of mine and it's called World of Monsters. And he will sit down and have half an hour long discussions about minotaurs or about whatever. And it's a lot of it is stuff that I do at the Monster Museum.
Caitlin Longberry, nailed it. Was the word mask called Leech Lord? Or was
Leech
that a different-
Lord.
That is
Yes,
Leech Lord.
it is Leech Lord.
Good
That's the
job.
name. Yeah. Honey, this mask is called Leech Lord.
I just wrote my Body Geeks and said, I'll send you an invoice in the future. If Alan is on his own and he wants something, send me an email. Don't ever do that. Don't ever let him think
I am an
he'll
artist.
Remember.
I cannot be trusted.
He'll never remember. This is like that day I was walking through the lobby and Eddie walked up and said, "Alan owes me a mask. What's the mask?" "I don't know." Here.
I didn't know what I owed him. He didn't know what I owed him.
Oh,
1980 says, "I said it needed a little Boba Fett."
Yeah.
Gregory Haynes says, "Wow, I didn't know most of that historical info about werewolves. I was really only familiar with the Wolfman, cursed man that turns from the full moon. Thanks."
Okay, so most of the Wolfman was written by the producer for the show. Silver bullets, not a thing. Silver weaponry, really not a thing for historical werewolves. So all of that is from the movies. The poem that Stacy recited, that was written for the movie. That wasn't like old folklore. That was all just for the movie.
For 2 werewolf shows in a row, sat next to the portrait of Shannon. Saying, "Even a man whose pure heart that says his prayers by night can become a wolf when a wolf man moves and the awful moves black." Is it real?
Thank you for the show.
Body Geeks, this whole thing. Yes, Richard the Wench, Leech Lord. Nick Henderson says, "Hey Alan, if my mold is moldy, can I still make a mask or is it harmful?"
No, you can make a mask. Clean your mold out with vinegar. That does it.
John C. says it's pronounced cryptozoologist. My bad. Shane Kuchler asks, will you take us on a virtual tour of your monster museum someday, please?
Yes, I will.
Lottie Geek says I probably fell asleep. Mike Murphy says, name that $10 mask, Steve. Well, it was Steve, and then it became a cool thing. Rob O'Brien says his name is not Sphincter.
Sphincter, the ever.
Justin Rudy says, by any chance, do you have the finished Hammerhead around, or remember the video title that you finished it in? I don't recall seeing it.
We boxed it up, and he's on Latex Mask Central, I
Is he
thought.
still sitting on your...
Hammerhead is not boxed up. He's
Oh.
not shipping.
is
Oh,
he
that's
still
right.
sitting on the thing? I'll grab it.
Rodney's going to pick it up, so
It's
yeah.
in the building.
Oh, okay. Good.
I'll go get you. Keep reading. No, because Ron's
committed.
gonna be here for Monster Camp, and he's gonna take you.
How long until the next monster camp, wife?
6 weeks.
Wow.
Justin Rudy says, by any chance, Enigma asks, are you going to make the texture roll wheels for the website?
I may, actually. Did I mention those?
Body Geek says, I was partial to Ankylosaurus.
I bet you were.
Louise says, Mexico. Saludos.
Saludos.
We are living in occupied Aslan.
You're living what?
In occupied Aslan.
Yeah.
Celeste Kitty says, it's not from the movies. Metal were in fact a war against werewolves and vampires.
But the silver bullets and werewolves only being killed by silver, I couldn't find any record of that before.
Celeste Kitty says, in St. Augustine, they have a werewolf hunting kid with silver bullets.
Okay.
What's your name? Ezekiel says, I think you need to venture stateside when the Monster Museum is open and see it in person.
Yeah, that too.
Shane says, thanks, Alan, you're the best. I will look forward to your virtual tour.
And silver was generally considered proof because silver was a metal that was linked to purity. The same way that salt has powers against evil. Silver had powers against evil. But it wasn't as strongly tied to werewolves as it got in the Wolfman 1941.
A werewolf hunting kit. Silver bullets. Good night, Big Dog. It's off to bed. Night all. We'll watch the rest tomorrow. Good night, Alan, Shannon, Stacey, and Reavers.
Yeah, Rodney is gonna pick this up in Monster Camp, and Gregory is going to pick up his werewolf instead of his first.
Yep.
Monster Camp as well.
Yes.
Nice name. It's the Boss Fight and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Yeah, I'm that old.
Yeah, I can see that.
Here you go. We'll show him.
You show. See the image?
Commentary by Stacy.
Celeste says iron is supposed to be more effective against paranormal.
Iron is very effective against the Fae and against ghosts. Cold iron is one of the few things that you can hit a ghost with.
That's Rodney's boy.
And we are speaking, of course, about lore, and the lore from one country could directly contradict lore from another area of the world. So it's not even necessarily like one of us is wrong. It's just that it's a different area.
Yeah.
It's a different area.
Christopher Lazat says the mark of the pentagram on a werewolf was also made up for the wolf.
Yes,
You
it
guys-
was.
Do you guys want Alan to wear this? They want you to put
They said that's not how you model a mask.
They don't want to see it on there. They want to see it on you.
It's hammer time. Joseph W. Green says hammer time is so handsome. Limelight Dim says the exact voice I had in my mind, Davey. Yes!
Which voice?
Halloween Ledford says, okay, Alan, I want to hear the voice you would use for that shark mask you made. B. Brown says, looks great. Shane Cutchell said, I'd wear that hammerhead mask as a COVID-19 mask proudly. Philip Earl says that the hammerhead is amazing. Angel Martinez says, yes! Justin Rudy says, wow, that turned out awesome. I love the paint colors you chose. Thanks, Shannon. Buddy Geek says Shannon can put it on.
Oh, I get a lot of things put on. So yeah, Rodney, we'll have him ready for you. And
Oh,
Gregory
Ryan's
Haynes, also coming to Monster Camp. Gregory, if you are still on, you will pick up your werewolf feet at Monster Camp too.
Third degree of terror says da da. Halloween Lifer says that is sweet, but I'm biased towards sharks. John C says Hammerhead, nailed it. Ezekiel says wow, that is so cool. Now the midget boots and a dance. Celeste Kitty says I'm half English, half Irish, raised by a native god dad and black god mom. I know all the tales.
Ah, street sharks.
Ellis Fire says I love that mask. Justin Rudy says how's its vision?
It's great.
Scanbone says that's sick. Limelight Dim says, oh goodness, the eye wobbling when you shake your head. Halloween Lifer says still waiting for the voice.
I want to bite someone and go. That's what I want to do.
Luis says hola, saludos a Mexico.
Here you go, wife.
Hello from Mexico.
Hola Luis.
But I'll get
Third degree of terror, where are the breathing holes?
Oh, we'll look inside. Tilt it up a little bit.
Says, you're very lucky to have a family that supports you.
There you go. See all those holes? There's plenty of breathing. There's plenty of vision. These are very nice.
Ezekiel says German hammerhead.
There you go.
Enigma says shark shimmy. David says jiggle shark.
That's my stage name.
Body Geek says I'm the Reed Carvalho.
Jiggle Shark is my stage name.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I dance
It
to.
is now.
Okay, great. Gregory is.
Yep, great. Halloween Life says a Frenchie hammerhead. Interesting choice. Justin Rudy says put some rollerblades on you. You can be one of the street sharks.
Yeah.
Philip Hole says breathing holes are in the gills.
Well, they're actually not. That's pretty far from your mouth. So it's hard to read from the gills, mate.
Hugo says, "Ah!" 1980 says next shark mask, sculpt a set of goggles on the mouth like the actor's face is the victim.
You know what? There's a Jaws mask that is that way.
Enigma says breathing holes are for sissies.
Yeah.
Skin and Bone says that's where they're going to be on Shark Week.
If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I knew I put it on Instagram. I don't know if I put it on, I think I did put it on Facebook. I don't know. But on Instagram, I am Alan Hops.
As in life.
Surprise! I'm as creative with my Instagram name as I am with naming masks. Leech Lord, that's the name of the name.
Leech Lord.
Good name.
Hugo says very nice.
Okay. So I wanted to change the profile of the brows a little bit. 'Cause I know that helmet is going to come down in here.
He says not Alan Barley. As opposed to Hops.
Oh, he got jokes.
Jokes. He's got jokes. Oh, yeah.
There are times when 1980 hits it on the head. There are times when I want to hit 1980 on the head.
Halloween Lifer says so far his name should be Underbite. Just needs a big cigar in his mouth and a bowler hat.
When the teeth are in, it'll make a little more sense.
Just
Not a lot more sense, but a little.
Joseph W. Gratian says, how's everyone doing this evening? I'm in the middle of building a workshop in the backyard. Also, what kind of monster duck are we working on tonight?
This flavor of duck is a frost giant duck.
I'll tell you my charger cable, since my computer is low.
Alexa, what time is it?
Why do I look?
Yeah.
9:13 p.m.
Okay. 9:13.
Ezekiel says he's got a bit of Sin City Marv.
He does. It's that big jaw. I mean, there are some universal things that happen, you know, with some sculptures and characters.
Justin Rudy says, you showed me a really solid video on teeth sculpting that helped a lot. Do you know any good ear sculpting videos?
Ear sculpting videos? No, I have an ear reference that I always recommend to people, and I bet I've recommended it to you. And I also recommend that people just practice sculpting ears. I kind of had Rodney do that for a while, and he made some kick butt ears.
1980 says Chin Killer.
Chinzilla.
Body Geeks asks, how big is the AC unit for the shop?
There are 2 AC units in the shop, and they are both, I think, they were like the biggest window units that Home Depot had.
Worth every day.
One day, now on a day when it's 107, like, you know, they're struggling, you know, it's not going to be 75 in here and brisk. But it actually does pretty good with keeping us comfortable. This last monster camp, I feel like we had like a lot of smokers, and they were just in and out of the door, and it was hot, and that did not help. So,
Just W Creation says, a little bit of that Dick Tracy thug going on too.
oh yeah, those big exaggerated features, sure.
So there's been an ongoing conversation about Irish folklore and banshees. And
Oh, awesome.
Celeste Kitty says, the banshee only warns you before you're dead, not at it. You have a chance not to die.
Yes.
Enigma says, ears are just a Y and a half oval.
Now, my favorite of the harbinger spirits, the banshee is a harbinger spirit. It is a harbinger of death to come. My favorite of it is the Binni, which is another fae. The banshee is also a fae. The Binni was often seen before battles, and you could tell who was going to win the battle because if you went out and you listened for someone washing on the rocks at night, and you looked and she was washing the blood out of the uniform of the losing side. So, you know, if it's from this side or whatever, you could recognize what they normally wore, and that would tell you.
Joseph Creation says, looking good though.
Thanks.
Next thing he says, no one kissing the Blarney Stone since COVID over there.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Limelight says, oh heck, I love folklore.
Me too. Me
Any of
too.
y'all listen to the Lore podcast? It's pretty cool. It goes into a lot of different cultures, lore, and things like that. Also, we're talking about a guy who's got a voice who I can listen to read from the book.
Yeah.
That guy,
Yeah.
Aaron Mankey, he's awesome. Although I will say, I guess he's been fairly polarizing voice-wise. I've recommended that podcast to a lot of people. And I get back pretty split down the middle. Oh my god, I love his voice. I would listen to him read the phone book. And I couldn't listen to it. His voice drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Limelight says, I tried to create my own for my mask. She ended up looking like a dryad / forest witch-esque creature.
Nothing wrong with that. None of those sound bad. I wanted to move those cheekbones up a little bit and get a little more dynamicness happening in the face. Alexa, countdown 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
I still feel like I'm very much on primary forms, but I'm getting those dialed in. In that 15-minute mark, which is what the timer I just set, I would like for me to move on to secondary forms, do my first round of smoothing, so I can really kind of get to see what this guy is going to look like.
Ivan Bloodhound says, Lore is an excellent podcast. The thing that wears on me the most are his go-to phrases. It seems. Well, you know, if you binge it, stuff will get repeated.
Yeah.
Ezekiel says, my wife's uncle is a librarian in Sweden and has shown me a ton of Swedish folklore. So much to take in. Fascinating.
Yep. I love it.
Justin Rudy says, not a good time for rapid fire questions.
Now is great for rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
I feel all rapid and fiery.
Ezekiel says, go Justin, rapid fire. Pew pew. Finn Godwolf says, the folklore in my neck of the woods has La Llorona. I think you guys have her in Texas as well. Yes.
Yes, we do.
Celeste Kitty says, I need to follow the folklore. They did an Amazon TV spinoff as well, and I didn't enjoy that quite as much.
I found it very boring.
Yeah, what works really well in his podcast in straight audio form did not work translated to TV.
Yeah, there wasn't enough there.
Yeah. Ooh, deja vu. Enigma says, if you had the choice between making a capybara mask or a PTM tutorial, which one would you rather do?
PTM. Which, when I was at Dark Hour, I brought home my whole bucket of prosthetic transfer material stuff. And it's right there next to Stacy. It's right there. It's that bucket. And in there is all of my PTM stuff. So your video is coming, sir.
Celeste Kitty says, I know so much. Thoughts on the hide behind it?
When you say hide behind, are you referring to the Hodler folk who they're the children of Lilith, who she hid behind her, and who have a hollow backs and cowtails? Are those the hide behind that you mean? Or there is also a Native American hide behind, which behaves a lot like a hold on one second. Forest critter, where you can wear your clothes backwards, and that way they won't change the forest around you and make you get lost.
Bobby says, we also have cow tipping in Texas.
Yes, a little random, but I like it.
B. Brown says, have a great night, creepers.
Good night.
Limelight Dim says, I love the Wendigo folklore.
Yeah.
Enigma says, yay, PTM tutorial. Yes, my time has come.
You eat the people, you get the hungry.
Ronald Ryan says, what is PTM?
Prosthetic transfer material. It is a way of making prosthetics out of prostate. And what's great about them is you make them in a silicone mold, and they're very reliable, so a cut can look the same over and over and over again. It's fairly inexpensive, and if you put them on tattoo transfer paper, then they're actually really easy to apply. They're just really nice.
1980 says, giggity. Philip Earl says, do you ever figure out what was stalking the back of your property about 2 weeks ago? You were using trail cam.
No, if I had to guess, I would guess it was a coyote, but I have not looked hard enough yet.
Ezekiel says, I think I need some clarification on cow tipping. It may just be something different in Australia.
Well, what people believe that cow tipping is in the United States is that cows sleep standing up, and you can run over and push them over. And sometimes when they fall over and hit the ground, they die. So it's not a very nice thing to do to cows, but mostly it's just kids being jerks.
Based on our master, are you going to sculpt the teeth separately?
I'm sculpting some teeth. I'm sculpting right now. Other teeth I will sculpt separately. The real long ones, they have to be somewhere else.
Jay Sparrow says, Alan, have you ever made a back end cowl for fun?
No. I don't, okay, when you say for fun after something, that's not why I make things. Yes, this is fun, and I enjoy this, but this is my living. And I'm a haunted house person, like that's my day job. I do haunted house stuff. So most of what I make has always been for haunted attractions.
Enigma says the whole thing is blendable, not just edges like encapsulated prosthetics.
Yes.
1980 says snipe hunts are a Texas tradition.
Snipe hunts are all over the U.S.
It's true, but the Texas variety of snipe is especially elusive. So small.
Yes, exactly. And you would not think that you could catch them with a Wonder Bread bag.
You would not think
But
that.
you can.
But you would be wrong.
And snipe kind of came about, there's a whole series of folklore called the Fearsome Critters, which originated as kind of lumberjack stories. And so fearsome critters were talked about, and most of them were parables and lessons for lumberjacks to learn. Like there's a thing called an axe handle hound. And if your axe is left out at night, the axe handle hound will come and eat the handle off of it.
Yep.
So you can't leave your axe out. And there are Wampus Cats. And a Wampus Cat, they live on the sides of a hill. And they have two legs long, 2 legs that are long, and 2 legs that are short. So if one is chasing you, they're better at running on the side of the hill than you are. You have to jump over them, because then the Wampus Cat has to run all the way around the hill to get back to you. So you got to jump over the Wampus Cat. And there's just a whole bunch of fearsome critters. There's this whole group of wonderful fable monsters, basically, that lumberjacks, you know, told people.
John C. says, if the cow gives you good milk, you give her an extra $5.
That's
Tip the cow.
yes, exactly.
Ezekiel says, okay, cow tipping in Australia. Well, in my neighborhood, cow tipping is when you eat a big hamburger, like 4 meat patties, and you go towards a food coma very quickly.
Okay, that's not here.
Rob O'Brien says, I saw that smoothie. Third Degree Terror says, where's my cocktail, Shannon?
Cow tipping involves murder, actually, here in the States.
Yep.
Not as fun.
Jesse Popbear says, snipe hunts are a country thing for city folk.
Yes, they are.
Enigma says, how much time would you give your sculptors when they were sculpting one character for a haunt on average?
Okay, so I'm just recently learning that people are not like me. So I would say a reasonable amount of time is 4 to 6 hours.
Kirk Matthias says, night all, work at 3 a.m.
Good night, Kirk.
Oh, Alexander Castle says, hey, Alan and Stacy and the gang.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
Catty Wampus. Welcome back, Madeline. Let's see, do we have any other mods on today?
Yeah, and that's why Wampus Cat,
Yeah.
Wampus means you're kind of walking sideways. Yes, exactly.
Limelight Dim says, it sounds like womp 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 when it's running.
Yeah. How you know one's chasing you?
Yep. Third Degree Terror says, we see all, Shannon.
I didn't know if they could see.
1980 says, Jackalope gets no love. That's not true. Jackalope is my favorite cryptid.
Lots of people like the jackalope.
All right, so let's see. What do we have the mods in there? Let's bring a copy of this thing. Body Geek says, okay, time to call it a night.
Good night, Body Geeks.
Madeline says, howdy, gotta run again. Be back soon. All right, when you come back, I'm gonna post you that link.
Which link?
The link to the creepers. Third Degree Terror says, I respect your commitment to the rules, Shannon. Phil Burrell says, thank you for the Wampus Cat story. Zico says, cocktail hour, what time, Shannon?
There's another one, and I forget the name of it. I remember that it looked like a pile of flapjacks. And it's like, they're so absurd. It looks just like a pile of flapjacks.
Caitlin Longberry says, someone who spent all my summers in Wyoming, jackalopes are the famous in my family. Philip Earl says, I've used the cattywampus phrase all my life and never knew the background.
Yeah, that is where it comes from.
Lisa Arndt says, Hawaiian lore. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that bit.
Oh, yeah.
Menehene and Death Marchers, etc.
Yep.
Y'all, Hawaiian pronunciation murders me.
Yeah.
Every once in a blue moon, there'd be a hurricane roll in or a big storm or something, and we would have a caption for the station on the Big Island.
Right. Oahu.
Oahu. And they're like, just try your best. Like, and that was one where like we better have a video feed for that, because sometimes they'll put place names up on there and you can just type it in. But there are like 3 different and distinct places that are all kind of pronounced exactly the same. There's some variation there that's happening, and I know it's happening because they're able to tell what they're talking about, but my untrained ear was not.
I have a hard time pronouncing anything with 5 eyes in a row.
Yeah. It was like Kauai, and I was like, there was like 4 different places that are, to my ear anyways, all sounded like Kauai.
No, kawaii. Completely different.
Totally different.
What's wrong with you?
Ezekiel says, lunchtime here. Wonder if the wife will win a vodka fruit tingle. It's almost the end of the week. 1980 says, drinking game. Take a shot every time Alan says either mold or latex. Alcohol poisoning is very
Yeah, you're gonna die.
All right, Justin, Rudy, rapid fire questions. Number 1, most time spent on a single mold, and what was it?
On a single mold?
Oh, Justin Rudy.
Okay, so we spent 2 days at dark hour molding a recreation of the American Werewolf in London transformation, where the guy is laying down and there's it's the actor's arms and the actor's head, but they strap in to the chest and the waist and the legs that go up into werewolf legs. Giant mold the size of a refrigerator, massive, heavy, and it took about 2 days to mold. And then clean out and all that stuff.
Celeste Kitty says, you love my jackalope and Krampus skulls and dragons I made for real bones. Yes, please, post them in the creepers group. Ezekiel says, you should try some Aboriginal words, just some of the suburbs around here is a challenge. Oh God, I imagine. Lion Lincoln says, that's epic, I would have killed to help with that. Justin Rudy says, number 2, cooler looking, Medusa or Anubis?
Medusa. And so hard to do well, Medusa. Very difficult.
Number 3, favorite dinosaur?
Favorite dinosaur? Probably, now, are you counting like fish? I do love me a mosasaur. I love me a megalodon. I love me a Doncleostis, one of the big armored fish. Very cool thing. And you have to respect a couple of the good pterodactyls. Those are pretty awesome.
Number 4, thoughts on CGI being used in horror, and what's one movie you liked or hated due to the CGI?
Okay. We just watched a movie called Seventh Son the other day here in the shop while we were working, and the CGI wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing. And then I also just watched a movie called Double World, which is actually a Chinese movie. It was made in China, and it's dubbed, so it's voiceover. It's not voiceover. It's not even dubbed. It's subtitles. That's the word I'm looking for. Double World, and for some reason, the Chinese horror movies that have CG, they're just better than I think a lot of the United States is CG. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a Chinese diving situation where they have trained to make CG monsters from birth or something in a camp. I don't know. But I know that their CG looks awesome. If you look at the Korean horror movie, The Host, that's a CG sea monster, and it looks great. But then if you look at like Seventh Son, that CG is a little bit rough. It's a little overused. Alexa, stop. I was not a fan of the CG that showed up in, hold on, Van Helsing. The CG werewolf, I wasn't a huge fan of. It was okay, but it wasn't as good as the werewolf in Cursed, which was roughly the same time period, and just looked better.
Next thing he says, there was 4 shots in 25 seconds.
Oh.
Number 5, if you could get a new pet other than a dog or cat, what would you get?
A pet other than a dog or a cat, and like completely anything is possible, probably a rhinoceros.
Alright.
I would like a friend that's a rhinoceros.
Cat Swift says, my 2 super city girls had to drive cross country. They called all excited because a waitress told them where to go hunting for jackalopes.
Great.
Ezekiel likes a pterodactyl. Philip Rose says Triceratops. Third degree hair, Ankylosaurus.
I like those two.
Enigma says Predator X was the best dino. Sidara says Ankylosaurus. Got a respected dino with the club. Sparrow's Cave says Raptor. Celeste Kitty says Team Rexy here. Ezekiel says Werewolf movie a few years back was awful CG.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
He says my cat is headbutting the heck out of me.
The Werewolf movie that was CG, I watched it. It was bad. At the same time, there's a cartoon that was on every week that was like Autobots, but they were animals, and that TV show's CG was better than some of the stuff in the Werewolf movie. You're correct.
Ezekiel says a rhino. Philip Earl says leopard tortoise. Limelight Dim says, what about the CGI in the 2010 Wolfman film?
I did not mind it. I actually just watched that again recently, and yeah, it was CGI heavy. But they also had practical in there too. There was some of the CG was a little much. I would have liked to see more practical shots. I wish the transformation, but I'm not a big transformation guy. I wish the transformation was not CG. I have to get some glasses. You know where some are?
I sure do.
Hooray. Thanks.
Okay.
I wish the transformation wasn't CG. My favorite werewolf transformation in movies is in Monster Squad. The werewolf transforms in a phone booth in 5 seconds, transformation is over. Because he's got werewolf stuff to do. He's not going to waste his time writhing on the ground. He's got werewolf stuff to go do.
Philip Earl says blue tongue skink. He is thick. 1980 says I would love a niffler as a pet. Sparrow's Cave says if anything's possible, then I'd want a pet jack-o'-lantern that eats intruders. John C says it's spelled Ankylosaurus. Ankylo means fused because many bones blended together and fused to be stronger. The fun Ankylosaurus trivia that I know is that the spikes that stick up on the end of the tail. Is that Ankylosaurus or is that maybe Stegosaurus?
Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus. The spikes that stick up on the tail, those are called thagomizers.
Thagomizers.
Because the guy that does Farside, Larson, wrote a comic about like a caveman teaching class, pointing out the spines in the back, and he was like, now these are the Thagomizer, after the late Thag Johnson. And there was no official name for them, so the scientific community went, sure, Thagomizer.
We just call them spines.
Yeah. Steven Zamel says Beast Wars.
Beast Wars, you're right, it was Beast Wars.
Phil Burrell says, I like the South Korean the host as well. Rich Powell says, any pet, a fennec fox. Yeah. They're so cute. That's like concentrated cute. Ridiculous cute.
Way too much cute for one person.
Cable Lumber says, along the same lines as folklore and CGI, what are your thoughts on the TV show Grimm?
Grimm?
Oh, it was a fun show.
Grimm? Oh, I enjoyed Grimm. It was okay. I mean, they really anthropomorphized like every monster. A griffin became, a guy with a little bird nose, and it was. I didn't like that because sometimes I just want to see a giant monster, and they were very anthropomorphized, and it felt cheap to me in that was what they were willing to spring for effects, and they made them all fit the same size box. I didn't like that, but I did like the show. I did enjoy some of the lore that they did.
Ivan Bloodhowl says the most recent version of the thing ditched beautiful practical effects for CG versions. Total shame.
Yes, total shame, but they wanted to tell a story, and CG is a lot cheaper than practical effects.
Ezekiel says I don't really understand the whole transformation argument.
Some people, that's the most important part of a werewolf movie. It's just not for me.
The 2010 Wolfman, Limelight Dim says, it's sad it didn't do as well as they'd expected it to. My favorite type of film is Victorian horror.
Yeah, you know what? And I think it was paced very similarly to the 1940s Wolfman, and that is not for our audience. Modern audiences, they need faster cuts. Just if you analyze that film from a film standpoint, it is slower moving, and I think that really hurt it.
Celeste Kitty says, screw all this, I'm a Winosaurus.
Hooray.
Rachel Powell says, concentrated cute, yes, Fennec Fox. I believe they are the most hyper animal on the planet.
Yeah, see, I don't want that. I'd like something.
Celeste Kitty says, I loved Grimm.
Yeah, good show. Good show. We enjoyed it. We watched most of them. What did we watch? 3, 4 seasons, honey?
Yeah.
That's a lot of TV for me.
That's impressive. You don't get a lot of TV.
Joanne Crowley says, very late tonight. Hello.
Hey, Joanne. We're still doing it. Don't worry.
Doing thing.
See, now I can calm this lip down, and it's still going to feel like a lip. You know, it's still going to have, I have to control how much shadow it gives off. That's what makes the lip scenes big, is that how much shadow do they have. So if I calm this down, and it makes less of a shadow, the lip just gets smaller.
Thor says, one-on-one creepers watching.
Hooray! Hi, everybody.
Limelight Dim says, you guys watch Penny Dreadful? Debating on it.
I've watched a couple seasons.
I love it.
It's interesting.
It's very pretty.
I don't mind what they're doing, and they certainly have a right to do it.
There's only 2 seasons of the, or is there 3 seasons of the first?
I don't know. I know I watched the first season, and I kind of tried to start the second season, but there's a lot going on in it, so I kind of had to go back and watch a couple of the other episodes. A little more man-on-man action than a lot of my viewing, without warning. It's like, whoa, okay, like, surprise, Alexander the Great's penis. If you watch the movie Alexander, I was also a little surprised by that. But, you know, I'm adapting.
Gregory Hand says, I was a big Grimm fan.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Justin Rudy says, can you foam fill half masks? If so, how does it stick to the latex?
The same way that it sticks to just about anything. Its foam is kind of sticky.
Very well.
You just do it. Now, could it peel away? Yes, it could. So what I normally do is I peel that back edge away, and then you contact cement those two together. So you make a plug for it, and then you contact cement them together.
Ezekiel says, I loved Penny Dreadful. Philip Earl says, I enjoy Supernatural.
Yeah, Supernatural's good.
Misty says, Penny Dreadful is very unique.
Yes.
Limelight Jim said, thank you for the warning.
Yeah, I mean, it's not...
There are some very pretty boys in that show.
Yeah, and every now and then they kiss each other and sleep with each other, and that's okay. I'm happy that they're happy. But I would like kind of a 1, 2, 3. Like, that's not where I thought this was going to go. I thought there was going to be a different type of stabbing.
1980 says, with that jaw shape, are you worried about mold lock, or since it's clay, not an issue?
It's not an issue. There really isn't an issue with mold locking with wet clay. I'm going to pull the mold off, and this clay is going to stay in the mold, and then I'm going to clean it out. Mold lock is if you have, or undercuts. If you're sculpting in a real hard clay, like the old Chavant, or the old, not even Chavant, Aroma Plastina that had sulfur in it, that was such a hard clay. It would, getting it out, you could break your plaster mold. So I just really prefer the wet for many reasons.
Dozer88SR says, hello.
What's up, Dozer? Been a while.
Sculpt has a Brando Godfather vibe with chin and mouth. I like it.
You know what? I feel a little bit Rondo Hatton with this. I don't know if you know who Rondo Hatton is. The late great Rondo Hatton.
Yeah, I can see that.
A little bit of William Dafoe too. I'm not sure why. Till you get to the jaw.
The Harry Beastie says, have you seen a new TV show? I think it's called Lovecraft Town, aka Sundowners. It looks pretty good in the ads. I'm currently trying to track it down.
I've seen an ad for it. I haven't watched it.
Zika says, lots of cool detail in Penny Dreadful. Yes.
Yeah.
Philip Earl, a different type of stabbing. Oh my
But yeah,
God.
that's not what I was expecting is all.
Luke the Mon Man asks, do you believe in ghosts?
I have to. Science says I have to.
Science says you have to?
Yeah. Energy cannot be created or destroyed.
That's
It
true.
merely changes form.
That's true.
So if we die, our energy doesn't get turned into matter.
That's true.
So our energy has to carry on in some way. So it's ghosts, man. It's ghosts. Science says there's ghosts.
Fair enough. 6 Silent 6 says Lovecraft Country. That looks good. Limelight Dim says one of my friend's children is in Lovecraft Town, so you bet I'm going to watch it.
Cool.
Lovecraft Country, based on a good book, says Boys to Mac. Celeste Kitty says, if I stop responding, it's because my big dog, a cat, husband, and loud kicking me off the bed because they were apples.
Hooray!
Oh, 1980. You said I thought Alan liked sword fighting.
Not that kind. Different flavor.
Big
No pun
monkey-
intended.
Big monkey. Oh.
I can't be.
Oh, Big Monkey Fez says, yes, very Rondo. Big bad guy in the Rocketeer is based on Rondo, and this mask looks a lot like it.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Jesse Papa Bear says it was a surprisingly enjoyable part of the show for me, but I don't know what that says exactly. Something, I guess. But I'm biased, I guess. Gotcha. Celeste Kitty says, kid, not loud. Husband and kid kicked me off the bed. Limelight Tim says, stop.
What? Just saying. No, I mean, you know what? I actually like that content is out there because it's nice for people to see people like them.
Representation matters.
Whether or not I am a person like them or not, it's great that there's people out there like them, you know? Of course there should be female superheroes. Of course there should be blacks. Of course. Without doubt.
Shane Kushler asks, in your haunts, do you use weapons such as knives from the Halloween store, or do you make your own? Just wondering, because I don't ever remember seeing you make any.
We make our own. Actually, if you go back, I have a video on making fake knives from Sintra Plastic. Prop weaponry, I think it's called. Now, I'm at a point, I've worked dry as long as I can. And now I'm going to work wet by getting a brush and brush this out.
Do you want your floor wax, or are you just...
I probably won't floor wax this one. I'll probably just use plain old water.
Alright.
But first, someone's got to do some story time. Let's say 45 seconds of story time. Go.
Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what, guys? I was actually, well, I was going to show y'all some more of the new, well, you see how things go here. The new sculpting tools. They are up on the website now, and they are in sculpting. We are going to add a demo video we shot earlier today. We'll add that tonight so you can see what these all do. Because I realize that, just looking at the picture, unless you're Al Matra, who doesn't care, he just trusts and did it, you're going to want to know what these do. So you can go to the website of the store, look under sculpting, and you'll be able to see what we have, the new Beast Effects sculpting tools that a lot of you have been asking about. And I apologize that I've been late getting these up here, but I'm working nights right now, which has been a little difficult. So check those out, and then we will have a video up to show you how each of them works. So I'm only going to have a question. See, these are cool. What do they do? It'll be a lot easier for you to see exactly how he uses them and what they do. I know you've seen them here, but demo videos are good. So those are on their ways, but you can check them on the website. Get off my phone,
I took a selfie for the wife.
I helped.
Right.
You did, Stacy. You said something.
She trusted you.
Stacy.
I know, I'm
Let me
sorry.
down.
I'm sorry. Justin Brady says, P.S. Were you waiting on me to ask the hook question, or did you just happen to have a random piece of paper laying there?
That was my list from earlier. I just threw in the bag.
Limelight Dim says, you go, girl. You work them nights. Guess what I'm doing right now?
Not a fan, kids, but it's okay.
1980 says, a little bit of fur and some mutton chops. This could be Sabretooth from Marvel.
The jaw's a little too big, in my opinion, for that. I see where you're going. I understand. The forehead, brow, and cheekbones, maybe, but, and yet no.
Ezekiel says, a selfie for the wife.
That's right. You get a selfie. You get a selfie. Look on your phones. Everybody got a selfie. Bella, Bella, Bella. This is Bella. Bella. Oh, you need attention. You need attention. Now that Cheney came over, she got up here so that Cheney couldn't get any petting. Because I have the most self-centered dogs around.
Lisa Gordon Arns says, I live in DeKalb, Illinois, and I do a haunted cemetery in the front yard. I made everything using your ideas adapted to our weather. Had 3 inches of snow last year. It still had 400 kids.
What?
Wow, that's awesome. There is a haunted house that we used to do training for called Corner of Chaos in New Jersey. And they were hit with a hurricane a few years back. I forget which. Hurricane Cynthia, something like that. And it wiped out all the corn in their cornfield, and he said he was so mad because the only thing that withstood the hurricane was the garbage bag scarecrows that they made using my garbage bag. Now, why didn't they blow away? I don't know. It's like walls went down. You know, the maze walls came down. All the corn is ripped up out of the field. There are those dang scarecrows.
Ezekiel says, Aqua Dog. Kim, Brad Kennedy says, oh, I love the Bella. Caitlin Lundberg says, virtual pets for the doggos.
Oh, they get plenty.
Third grade terror says it was Hurricane Sandy.
Sandy, that's what it was. That's right.
You come to Monster Camp, you'll get all the dog attention.
So much dog
Too much
attention.
dog attention.
Edson Juice says, good evening, my friends and fellow creepers.
Hey Edson, how you been, man?
Micro Halloween says, dang, you're still alive. I just came back to check in before bed.
Yeah, this is what I do, man.
Jesse York says, hello, everyone.
This is what I do.
Oh. Ezekiel says, I can't wait for a lie down with the doggos.
Well, if you saw the Monster Camp pictures of Amber passed out on the floor of the shop with the doggos around her, she was truly passed out. Everybody was. You are hammered at
Monster Camp is not for
It
sissies.
is not. It is not a laid-back vacation.
Like-
she literally fell over on the floor, and that's why we took her picture.
Like you guys who are surprised, oh, you're still alive 4 hours later? Well, yeah, I'm making this thing and it takes 4 hours to make it. I'm pretty happy with this. Like, I'm happy with where this is right now. So I like that. I do have a little bit more calming down to do. I'm gonna let it dry up now that I smoothed it all out, and I'm gonna get some clay in my hands and make his ears. Can you see if there's a picture of any of his ears? I just want to see if they're pointed or not. I feel like they should be pointed, so I can pull this a little further away from human anatomy.
Yes.
You make that big.
That one?
Whatever one that has the best picture of their ears.
Oh, that's as big as that one goes. They're just pointy. Let's see.
That's probably
Yeah,
the
that's
best.
gonna be it.
And move that ear so it's center. Can you do that? Is that as big as we can get it?
That's a big get.
Why don't we have infinite zoom?
Sorry.
Enhance. Enhance.
Edson Juice says, live the dream, you know. Fig
Correct.
God Wolf says, hey Alan, what is it you do or do not like about monster clay?
It's hard to get out of the mold. You know what? I don't mind sculpting with it. I want a clay that works as fast as I think, so that I can very quickly make I can very quickly make a post-it note about what I want to put where, and with the clay, and then I can blend it out and I can work fast. I'm a very fast sculptor with wet. Monster clay makes me slow down, and then you get a little further away from your real idea, because while you're waiting for the clay to heat up, or while you're kneading it to get it soft enough to put it on there, or while you're waiting on it to get to be just the right temperature, because you keep it hot and then you put it on, you got to wait for it to cool down a little bit. To me, I don't like that part of the process. I like the immediacy of wet.
1980 sent me Tom Chaos.
Yeah, I'd say even that jaw is a little smaller than this one. But yeah, that particular saber tooth looks quite a bit like this guy.
Oh, Paul Bennett.
Hello, Paul.
Wonders what he did. Well, what he do? He's still standing and facing the wall. It's a very long punishment.
I am reenacting the Blair Witch Project. He puts his face against the wall so that
1980 says Solomon Grundy has a similar look as well.
Yeah, it's the basic square jaw guy. They're easy to draw, so there are variations on a theme.
Joanne Crowley says this guy Masters of the Universe, or what is he called?
No, this is a frost giant from the game Conan Exiles.
Nelson De La Rosa says gargoyle ears will look nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing some pointes.
What is? Ezekiel says wed is a get it done clay.
It is. It is. You know what? And it sculpted the Predator. It sculpted the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. And by golly, that's good enough for me.
Paul Bennett says he is tired, at work, double shift.
I'm sorry to hear that, Paul.
Chad Press, if you are watching, thank you for your order.
What did Chad Kress order?
Well, yes.
Sculpting tools?
Yep. And a great different one.
Oh, cool.
Finn Godwolf says I've never used monster clay, so you said it's difficult to get out of the mold.
Yes, it's much more difficult to get out of the mold. Now, the advantage of monster clay is that you can sit there and sculpt on it for months. I don't do that. Like, that's not me. Like, that is contrary to what I do. If it's a hobby and you're going to take a while to do your sculpture, sure, that's fine. But this is work for me. And if I'm working slow, then I'm not making that much money.
Paul Bennett says he's working 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. Or 9 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Wow, scary.
It's a long shift. Ezekiel says I watched Mike Rotella sculpt yesterday with wet clay. Very cool.
But yeah, you can sculpt fast, and you know that's a biggie. Anytime you get a chance to watch a guy like Mikey Rotella or Jordu sculpt, do it. You know, I'm good. I'm not masterful, and those guys are just flat out better, and that's okay. I'm just not there yet.
Ivan Bloodhound asks, in your opinion, does unused wet clay have a shelf life? I have some from a few years back.
As long as it's still moist, and in all honesty, you can bring wet clay back from the dead too. It's probably still fine.
John C. asks, did you make the straw man in the cornfield of terror?
I don't know. Listen, this is my life, guys. Not the other day, but when I was trying to make room on my old computer and moving files around, and I pulled out like an old external hard drive and I plugged it in, and there were scarecrows on it and a whole bunch of orcs on it that I know I made, but I don't remember making them. I don't remember who bought them or where they went. I have no idea. I have made a lot of monsters. They were not always Oscar worthy, but I've made a lot of monsters.
Is that awesome to go through a show and see a mask or a costume you've made?
It is cool.
You're
Yeah.
like, ah.
Yeah, it's cool. Rob was at Hell's Gate a couple MHCs ago, and he was so thrilled that a plant, 2 years ago, yeah, a plant creature that he had made here in the shop that he knew John bought at the show, he showed up, you know. He thought that was great.
That was
It is
awesome.
great.
That was awesome. And then we were at Scare House.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
We weren't expecting Scare House. I remember John bought plant base, but I did not know the Scare House bought.
Yeah, they bought a Wendigo creature from us.
So that was fun. We went very overjoyed, and we see it. It's like seeing your kid.
Right.
Oh, hi, honey. I'm so proud of you. Look at you. Look at
I think that is one of the best things you can do for an artist or a maker or something is send them pics of stuff being used. Like,
Yeah.
it is. I'm excited to see Michelle Schulte's pictures of the headdress that she bought because I
did.
No, I'm excited to see them. I haven't seen them yet. She assures me they're coming.
Oh, yes.
But I'm excited to see them just because it's rare. It's rare to get to see stuff after it leaves the house and, you know, goes out into the world. That was also why I was really excited to see Alexis Tipton's stuff, the voice actress who bought the headdress that she wore to Disney. Like, she posted a ton of pictures in
This
it.
woman who did the Haunted Mansion gig?
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, yes! All the way to Disney!
Not just Disney. The
Haunted Mansion, yeah.
I mean, go to Disney, that's great, yeah. No, where in Disney? Aw, what?
Ezekiel says, I missed the teeth comments. Are you using pumpkin teeth or sculpted teeth and add them in later?
Okay, so this creature has real big teeth. I've got to sculpt them and add them in later. I got to make a silicone mold, and I'll do those in resin. Just because latex would take a long time to cure in such a long, thin mold. It'd be tough to pull out. Yeah.
Third degree terror says, such great menace in that face.
Thanks.
Ezekiel says, it's like hearing your songs on the radio or TV. It's such a mind-blowing thing.
Yes.
Seriously. Rob O'Brien says, oh man, step away for a second, come back to Disney comments.
How it goes around here.
Horror Beauty says, yay, bingo night. What did I miss?
Oh.
Hi, Horror Beauty.
Hi, Horror Beauty.
Where you been?
We're making a frost giant. Out of nowhere, frost giant.
Lisa Arndt says, my husband and I were at the Haunted Mansion 50th event last year. I remember seeing that guest with the headdress.
Yeah, that was her.
That was so cool. That was Alexis Tipton, who is a pretty famous voice actress who bought that headdress from me at Texas Haunters Convention last year.
Holy smokes, that's so amazing. Stacy made that.
I'm squealing so hard right now.
Oh my gosh,
She
that's so
is.
great. And she saw that.
In the wild, a headdress sighting.
And I just remember her talking about that, and we are like, it's going where? And I'm thinking, it's going to be a 50th anniversary dinner party.
Spending the night
gathering
in the...
at- What? Why are we not there? Hi, Jake.
Hey!
Which Jake that is?
That is Jacob Earl.
Hey, Jacob.
Or, not Jacob. Jacob Earl? Yes, the
Is that Jacob Earl?
camera's Jacob.
New tech kid.
New tech kid, yes.
Yeah,
Newbie tech kid.
newbie tech kid. That's it.
Al Mantra says, speaking of different clays, what's a good clay for just making a sculpture? No need to go over past it.
Depends on how long you want to work on it. If you want to work on it for a long time and you're not going to mold it, I would recommend Monster Clay. It's a great clay. It's got a good waxy feel. I do like the clay, but I don't like it for stuff I'm going to mold in plaster because it's just so hard to get out of the mold. And I'm a little spoiled with my wet clay and my power washer.
So, if you're just making a sculpture, like, for keeps or for practice? Like, if you were going to make a sculpture that you wanted to, I don't know, like, put out in your yard or something,
No,
Monster Clay wouldn't be good for that, because
no. But nothing is good for that.
nothing's good for that.
Nothing's good for that. That doesn't
Marble.
exist.
Chip it out of marble.
Yeah. Start carving out of marble. You enjoy.
Ezekiel said, go Stacy. Thank you.
That is
Courtney Lynn says, hi everyone.
Hey,
Jake says, go make stuff.
go make stuff, Jake.
Jake Farmer made some teddy bear masks for Halloween Horror Nights for the chainsaw finale.
Nice.
And that was so exciting because, you know, we watched him make that and then there it goes.
Right.
It is
Horror Beauty says, Frost Giant. Cool. I was in the middle of a Zoom meeting for a music video shoot coming up. I missed all the fun, I know.
You had different fun.
Skin and Bone says, haha, browsing your store while watching.
Hooray! Buy all the things.
Lisa Art says, never would have guessed that Disneyland would be closed for Haunted Mansion's 51st. Makes last year even more special.
Yeah, this was the 30th Universal, 30th Halloween Horror Nights. It's their 30th year this year, and they're closed.
Good night, Misty.
Good night, Misty.
Hi, Misty.
Yeah, I have some friends who, actually the gal who bought the bat headdress, they were supposed to have a big Halloween wedding this year and then go to Halloween Horror Nights as their like honeymoon thing.
Yeah.
She's having a hard time.
Heartbreaks for people.
But her consolation prize for all of that is, well, we were spending a lot of money on that, and now we're not. So here's money let me buy a headdress for you.
Is this the friend you went to school with?
Yep. Ezekiel says, I love Haunted Mansion. Every year I've made my way there since 1981. It's the center of my universe.
That's awesome, yeah.
That is very cool.
Oh, yes.
My first time going through was with Bizarro, the guy that did the sculpting video or the molding video from last night. Leprechaun, the swing band leader, and his niece, Bonnie Warren, who is a storied stunt actress, and she's a contortionist. So like a lot of things that need contortionists contract her because she's tiny and redheaded and gorgeous.
Right.
She's one of those people who pushes the boundaries of like wearing a costume to Disney, but that's just kind of how she dresses in her normal life. Ezekiel says, I wish they did more merch for Haunted Mansion. And I don't know what else you could possibly want in terms of merch for Haunted Mansion. They do a ton of like, just all sorts of stuff. The print of the wallpaper is on so much stuff. It's awesome.
That is true.
I love that
It's
stuff.
very recognizable.
It is very recognizable.
I don't know any
And
other-
maybe they don't have as much masculine merch. There's a lot of ladies merch for Haunted Mansion. Purses, bags.
Well, but in the park, there's only that one cart outside,
Oh, that's
the
true.
gypsy wagon.
That's true.
And when I was a kid, the only thing that I bought when I went to Disney World in Orlando was a skull from there. It was a
Nice.
plaster skull. They glowed in the dark, and I loved it.
Aw. Because it's all miniature stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we went to Disney World as a kid, my mom was vehemently opposed to Haunted Mansion stuff.
Mom was?
Oh yeah, she didn't do scary stuff.
But
The scary stuff was my rebellion. Does not do scary. Even watching the stuff get made here, like she has told me she can't stay on the live feeds for long because it scares her. And I'm like, but you're watching it get made. Like, doesn't that take some of the scary out of it? And she's like, not really. You get to the end, and I'm like, oh god, that's horrifying. I'm going to see it in my nightmares. And I'm like, well, I guess we're doing a good job then.
I know I'm doing a good job because Facebook won't let me sell the goat mask.
Right?
They're like, nope, that's a real goat head. You can't sell that. It's got 3 eyes.
1980 says, I want Jennifer Tilly in a crystal ball. Okay, that sounded creepy.
Yeah, that.
Ezekiel says, I have a glow-in-the-dark skull from them. I still have it.
Yeah, it's just so beautifully sculpted and it's so well done.
Rob O'Brien says, now there is a bigger store in Florida.
Bigger than California, yes.
Caleb Lundberg says, I went to Haunted Mansion for the first time last year and it was amazing. By far my favorite, next to the Pirates ride.
I've never been to the one in California because I worked right near Orlando and I went to Orlando a lot. And California's just so tiny.
It is.
You know, I did not. I'm like, no, I don't know that I would feel like I got a good value.
I've been to the California one twice. The first time was for Bats Day Park, which is like the goth invasion of Disney.
Okay.
And I got to perform at that event. So I have a T-shirt from from Bats Day at Disneyland that has my logo on the back of it.
that's not uncool.
It was very cool. Ezekiel says, my mother is currently sewing me a Hatbox Ghost coat, full size, and live in my lounge room.
That's awesome.
Lisa Arndt says, Alan makes the best ears.
I practiced ears because ears are how you can tell a good sculptor from a lazy sculptor. It's in the ears. Most sculptors, if given the chance, will phone in the ears. And ears are important.
Lisa Arndt says, Disneyland actually has more attractions and more condensed space.
No. Because they don't have Animal Kingdom, they don't have MGM, they have a lot of stuff.
MGM and Disney are separate deals.
They're all on the property. You just get out and take a bus to the other ones. It's just big, like it's that big.
1980 1980 says, does anyone make prop rats with human ears on their back?
What's that from?
It's from science. That's how they grow
Yeah.
artificial ears.
No, but you know who would? I bet I could get Alan Carnes. I bet I could get Alan to do it. He's kind of a rat specialist lately. I don't know if he enjoys that or not, but he makes really good rats.
Justin Rudy asks, what would be the best way to get more layered, realistic skin tone on my mask? Skin that has the pink, reddish tone undertones. My mask is pretty simple and fairly smooth. Should I dry brush or wash?
Paint it pink and red first. Go back onto Latex Mask Central and look up Mikey Severe painting that Santa he did just a couple days ago. Bad Santa or whatever it was. He showed pretty good realistic skin tones. He grunged it out to the max by the end, but the paint job was still excellent.
Courtney Lynn asks, do you know when the next monster camp will be?
We do, but the next monster camp is actually full. So what we don't know is when the monster camp after that will be. Honey, do we have any idea, or should I not talk about that right now?
No, you can always talk.
When do we think the next monster camp will be?
Okay,
That people can attend? Because right now,
No,
the
right.
monster camps that are happening, no one can come to because they full, yo.
well, the monster camp we're having in 6 weeks is
I'm gonna back up a
actually.
little bit.
No, you're fine.
Well, I need
I've got a puppy. The monster camp that we are having, are you taking a break?
I gotta grab something.
Okay. Okay, so, hi Courtney. The monster camp we're having in 6 weeks is actually our May camp that is been rescheduled. So it is already full. And we have one in January that is full because it was scheduled 2 years ago, and it's a private camp that a family bought the whole thing 2 years ago. So you're going to see pictures of that. That is not a new camp. That's a camp that's been standing for 2 years, which, believe it or not, is still going to happen. But what we're hoping, we are looking at our calendar, and I'm not making any promises, but since we just found out that Dark Hour is not going to open, we're possibly going to, might squeeze in an October camp, which, when this is all over and we get back to regular life, will never happen again. We'll never be able to do an October camp again
No.
until Alan retires, which he'll never retire. So, there's a chance we'll do an October camp. And we have a waiting list of people who have contacted us. It's called the First Stab List. And that list is people who have basically written and said, how do I get a spot? And it's like, we don't have a spot, but we can always let you know if you're interested. If you would like to be on that spot,
Or that list.
that list, you can always write to stiltbestudios@gmail.com, and I will put you on the list. It is a chronological list done in the honor system. So people who have written first, doesn't mean that they're all going to get the first one, because that schedule may not work for them. But we'll start with the first person and work our way down. And then we open it up to the general public. So we're waiting to see about October.
Thank you, Scott Colhart, for posting with our merch store and our email link.
I just got moved out of the spot. Y'all see how I'm treated here? Actually, I'm treated pretty awesome. So.
You got roller-rated.
So there you go.
Haunted Mansion 7 times. He's 12. The 7-year-old 5 times. I have passed the torch on to them. My son has a half-box ghost mask in his room.
Alan, fix your camera. Yank me out of the way. Fix your camera there.
Yank your face out of the way.
Justin Rudy says, I was thinking of basing in skin tones, doing a red wash and then a dark brown wash over that to darken details, but I'm afraid the brown will cover the red.
Not if it's translucent. If you're using alcohol-based inks, you add some alcohol to it, and you will get some translucency.
Lisa Arndt says, yes, worked for Disney for 7 years at Disney Nest. Animal Kingdom has 6 rides, Hollywood Studios 8, Epcot 8 rides, etc. Take it. You pay.
I guess maybe, but flea circuses might have more attractions than actual circuses, but they still tiny, yo. Yeah.
Alright, Jesse York asks, how many people attend Monster Camp at a time?
Now I would say up to 6. Before I would say up to 10, but I can work 6 in this space and keep everybody 6 feet apart the whole time.
Nelson De La Rosa asks, can you post it live, LOL, can we follow along, or is that impossible?
It's not impossible, but at that point I'm giving away what the students have paid for, and I don't feel good about that. Now, in all honesty, this is a version of Monster Camp. I do videos on molding while I'm live. I do videos sculpting while I'm live. This is it. You know, I kind of talk you guys through the whole process no matter what. It's just some people might learn better in person.
That's 3 straight days. Can't be live.
Yeah, it's 3 days and they're about 12-hour days each. It is not for sissies.
Sparrow's Cave says, wait, what, no dark hour?
It doesn't look good.
Skin and Bone says, there's a drive-through event happening in Costa Mesa, California this year.
Yes, there are lots of them popping up. Dark Hour will not have a regular season. That much I know, and that much I can say.
Hey Shannon, if you have a minute, if you want to type a brief synopsis of what you ran down about Monster Camp, Paul missed most of it because you weren't on file.
I got you.
Yeah.
It'll be in increments. Here we go.
Yeah. Ezekiel says, I don't think I'd like to fight that.
I want it to look tough. He should look heavy and thick.
Ezekiel says, Florida Disney is the only one I haven't been to. 2021 looks like a complete set.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, Florida Disney's the way. It's to me that's yeah. I mean, Animal Kingdom is it's my favorite Disney park. In all honesty, I don't really even go for the rides. I go for the theming. I go for the themed environments. That's what I enjoy about the parks.
Lisa Gordon says, I'm going to do the cemetery even if there isn't trick-or-treat. Kids already told me I have to.
There you go.
Courtney Lynn says, okay, sounds good, thanks. And Nelson De La Rosa says, we can pay to watch it live. True, sounds good, thanks you. Dan McCorson says, I'm looking for a resource for a waiver to people to sign at our house, at our haunt. Can anyone help me with that?
Yeah, Dan, send me an email to stiltbestudios@gmail.com, and I'll get you I'll get you a copy of a couple different waivers. Some I picked up through the Haunted Attraction Association, of which I'm a board member, and some I've looked at versions of for dark hour activities.
I've ordered roller skates from China. They're not going to be here for a while.
Yes, that's true. Are you going to start some kind of roller skating?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Ezekiel says, no dark hour. Wow. How are you guys feeling about that? You guys have been unbelievable with U time for the creepers, etc. I know quite a few of the crew. I'm hoping you guys can be back on track soon.
Our hope, no matter how unnormal October is, to be normal by Wreck the Halls, which is our December show. Like that is 100% my plan.
Lisa Arndt says, I've been to every Disney park in the world. Disneyland Paris is the prettiest, but California Disneyland is number one. I worked for Walt Disney World, so maybe that's why I don't appreciate it as much.
Yeah, see, and that's, I worked for Universal. I worked for Universal for a while. I did some stilt stuff at Disney, but that was always through contractors. Just I kind of prefer Islands of Adventure. But you know what? That's the park that I was there when it was being built, you know? Yeah.
Finn Godwolf says, Alan did say there would be a possibility that he'd send out kits that we could follow along on a Zoom/Skype session.
Yes.
Something like painting a blank mask or something similar.
That's a plan. As soon as I get my mask paints out, then I'll be able to do that.
Rachel Powell says I can see Stacy as a roller derby lady. That's a possibility.
Is there a
I like my team though.
is there a headlamp in that top drawer?
Yes, there is.
Hooray. I can figure out if it works.
I got this.
I'm like, I don't know where the button is. I'm awfully fond of my teeth. To be a roller derby gal, but
I too enjoy teeth.
you know, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Looks like it was put away on, so this headlamp does not work right now.
Let's see, we got.
While you're doing that, I'll answer Warren's question. Yes, Warren, the chances of us having labs is better than the chance of us having a camp. But we are trying for both,
Yeah,
and
like,
an
clip on your suspenders or your collar.
an airbrush lab would be one of them that we would like to try and do. So yes, we are looking now at a suddenly very different fall that is unprecedented, and we're seeing what can we do with it. What can we, what's going to happen with us. And teaching and hosting is something we would love to do. Now, it's not the best time to be gathering, but these are always going to be very small. And guys, that's the thing that I really want to stress, is that we can't do monster camps for a dozen people, nor can we do labs for large groups, not until we're past this pandemic. So we always keep them small anyway, but we really have to keep them small now. So we are hopeful that we can do some labs, one of them be an airbrush lab, and we're hopeful that maybe we can squeeze out a monster camp. We are waiting to see. You guys will know, I promise you. It's not going to surprise you. You'll know.
Good night, Gregory Haynes.
Good night,
Good night, Gregory.
This is a full plug for tonight. Great work, Alan. Very cool.
Thank
See
you,
you
sir.
in 6 weeks.
Rob O'Brien asks, Alan, did you work with hard drive?
I've done some work with hard drive, yes. And there's Jeff J in Vegas, Still Works, W-E-R-K-S. Man, when you work with hard drive, that was the best, because they had good Bigfoot stilts.
Oh, yeah.
Stilts are like $5,000 a pair, and
Ezekiel
they're worth it. They're wonderful.
said this guy would make a super cool small person mask, too.
I can see that being like a goblin or something.
Skin and Bones says, love it so far. Third Degree Terror says, thanks for the update, Shannon.
Very well.
Joanne Crowley says, oh boy, Alan, first the glass is now a headlamp.
This is how I roll, kids. I'm all set for my spelunking expedition. Where I'm at in the shop, I'm in between all of the lighting, so it's actually kind of dark.
She lolled.
So right now, I'm just using the Silicone tip sculpting tool, and I am putting a little bit of detail in around these eyes, which I'm just kind of making up because, like you do. And what I always do when I put my eyelids in, I then will go with this silicone tips tool and run it, and I'm really shaping that eyelid by pushing it down where I want so that it's all the right shape. Lines are important, and making sure this line is one clean swoop is a big deal. If it's got like an S bump or something in it, that reads. We look at eyes every day. We look at the lines around people's eyes every day. And that's something that we're really good at noticing differences in.
Ezekiel asks, what's next for you, Stacy? What are you making? Making whatever Alan asked me to make.
He's making all kinds of cool stuff.
I'm making all kinds of cool stuff. Actually, the only thing I'm working on personally right now is a patchwork pirate coat for what's eventually going to be our Christmas show. Micro Halloween says, couldn't sleep. He's back.
Hello.
Justin Rudy says, good night, Alan. I got some dremeling to do. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
This is looking awesome.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, this is just kind of being its own thing here. Now I'm getting away from my source material a little bit, and that's okay. Because the res of the video game stuff is actually not great. I don't have amazing images. But before I wrap up, I know it's almost 10:30. What I want to do is I'm going to quickly grab some monster clay and make these tusks so that I can see what this looks like. Stacy, I'll need to get where you are to get to that monster clay.
Okay. He's like, no, you must walk over me. What are you eating, Boris? Hope that's the thing you're supposed to be eating. Log of. Do you need a heat gun?
A little more. I'm breaking chunks off of
Wait.
clay. It's like this hunk of monster clay. It's harder. Like if this were wet, I'd be done by now. Oh, okay.
It's literally standing on boxes of wet clay.
It's tough. This is monster clay. That little bit I can get off of there, but trying to break something off like this,
Forget about it.
es muy difficult.
Skin and Bones says, gonna miss Oogie Boogie Bash this year at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Finn Godwolf says, Alan, if you did use monster clay and had to clean it out of your mold, what do you use? Water or what?
You have to use a solvent, and you have to kind of pick at it. I got it. And you have to kind of pick at it. It's not.
Or heat.
Yeah, you can also melt it out of the mold. If you did with Ultracal, with Ultracal you can bake, but Hydrocal you might crack your mold. So there.
Limelight Jim says, it's a monster.
It is. It's a beast. At what it does, it's very good. I sculpt a lot of things like teeth with it off on the side, you know. I may be making some tooth veneers here in the future. It is getting the right material to make them out of is pretty difficult.
Dan McCorson says, email sent. Thanks, Alan.
No problem, sir. Stacy,
Yes, sir.
I want you to take this bit of clay
Okay.
and just work it with your hands
Okay.
to get it soft.
So
You
it
see,
feels-
can you imagine how fast these teeth would have been made out of web?
You've done already.
The teeth would be done, literally. Take that much and work that. And the more you knead it, it's gonna heat up and it's gonna get workable.
He said that blade looks scary.
My dog ate it. If you look at it,
Bella.
my dog actually
Bella.
ate chunks out of it.
Come here, Bella. Stop counter shopping.
Not for dogs.
Oh, God, they want to eat this so bad.
Yeah, it looks like a delicious treat.
It does. but
And
it's no,
another thing you have to worry about is that mice will come in and eat your monster clay. Something about whatever it is, they'll eat it.
Oh, boy.
Well, you guys have had a nap.
Just see yours. First the table, now the blade, now what?
Oh, they
my
eat
gosh.
everything.
They're better
There
than
is,
shop help.
they eat without discrimination.
Everything.
Or Beauty says there's a reason most people microwave monster clay to use it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, small amounts, you can just knead it.
Third Degree Terror says, would a few seconds microwaving monster clay soften it, or is that a terrible idea?
No, it does work. It does work. You can also put it in a light box. No. You can also keep it in a light box, or you just keep it warm. But then sometimes it's too soft, you know? It's a balance. Bella, you're not fooling me. I know why you're up here. You don't want love. You want to eat crap off the table.
Hey, no, go on, buddy. You're so cute. And I love you so much. But no, you cannot do this. No.
Just please give it to me. Look at the begging. Quality begging happening over here.
You're like, no, really. Just, no, Jane. No. It's not a good boy. Can't say that you're bad. Not be good.
Yeah, the microwaving does help, but a small amount like this, you can kind of work in your hand.
That's not nice.
Jane, you scared her.
Lisa Art says, mice love paper mache.
Oh, they do.
Or Beauty says they're like goats, they do jump on things, they eat everything. She's a target for sure. Jesse York says, do the dogs try to eat the sculpts too if you leave them unattended?
No, they will eat the noses off of my plaster busts. They'll like chew on plaster. One of their favorite toys right now is a chunk of plaster they stole out of the backyard. And yes, and like they carry it around and they'll just sit there and they'll kind of chew on it like a salt lick. Like they don't like bite off giant chunk. It's a big chunk of plaster. It's ridiculously sized.
No.
Speaking of
Ezekiel says, Cheney says, give me the damn TRDAT.
better, no. Go on.
Skin and Bone says, our cat loves
Why?
her
Help us out
TREATS
with
while
these.
standing on our ceramic pumpkin.
No.
The Hairy Beastie says, monomers and polymers that are
I just
easily
brought 'em.
available for artificial nails is exactly the same stuff as denture repair acrylic and will work for veneers.
Yes, it is. However, that will crack. Cheney, no, that's not for you.
They're your dogs, to be sure.
However, those will crack. And honestly, if your teeth get too pointy, it hurts. So what I am looking for is I'm looking at a vinyl actually, a couple different types of vinyl that will hold the detail, that will take the shape, and then, but won't stab the inside of your mouth like dental distortions. They will shred the inside of your mouth. So I've made lots of teeth with dental acrylic, but they crack and it's dangerous, you know? I would almost like something like a mouth guard where it's soft, but it looks really cool. That's the plan. Like that's my goal. But it's taking some experimentation and it's taking researching with the FDA because you're putting it in someone's mouth. It has to be approved for use inside the mouth, so that's hard.
Skin and Bone says, puppy thinks you need extra help. Yeah, that's what they think. Skin and Bone says, our cat loves your treats while standing on our ceramic pumpkin. Harry Beastie says, use your vacuum former to make skins.
That's possible, but then what is the skins? I don't want it to be hard. So most of your vacuum form materials have a rigidity and a sharpness to them. And the ones that don't, sadly, are really hard to paint. And this is not a simple thing of what I can make it out of that works. Okay, I am very close. Like this is just about ready. Is that warm?
I mean, it's getting there.
No. This bit, would you microwave for 30 seconds? Let's see if 30 seconds is enough for that. Hopefully it is. Because basically I want to make sure I have enough clay to make 2 teeth. Now these teeth are kind of skinny, and this is enough. I'm pretty sure I've got enough, but if Stacy's turns out better, then we'll use that. And whenever you're doing 2 of the same thing, I normally use the clay. I'll make one that's twice as big as I need it to be, and then I cut it in half. So I know I'm using the same amount of material for each piece. I did that for the cheekbones. I did that for the ears.
Reggie says use your vacuum former to make skins.
Yeah, we hit that one.
Would you use a source outline start or graphic company?
Because I am trying to find it. Puddled underneath.
Oh yeah, that's warm.
Yeah, careful underneath it is liquidy. And,
Yeah, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
I'll show that on camera.
yeah. So this is now lava clay, which napalm clay is
Napalm.
probably better. I'm gonna take a piece of it and put it in with mine.
Joanne Crowley says, could you use a sports mouth guard to start or contact a company that makes them?
That's a possibility. Again, though, I want it to be all one thing. I want it to be comfortable, and it has to be able to be attached with the same beads that everybody is used to. So it's a process. It's not a quick, hey, do this. It's when I'm up until 4 in the morning, I'm spending about an hour a night learning how to do that.
Third grade chair says liquid magma.
And learning all the hoops I have to jump through to do it legally. Texas is one of the states that really comes down hard on practicing dentistry without a license. And sometimes if you're making special effects teeth, they will come after you for practicing dentistry without a license.
Ezekiel says this is where heat gun in your hand comes in handy.
Yes, and this clay smells a little bit like a really dead snake because
I was like,
I made a python mold a while back, and I molded a dead snake, which was not the way to go. That's like
Yeah.
not the way I would do it
as it turns out.
if I had it to do again.
Limelight dim made it distressed face.
Distress. Oh yeah,
That's how I read that face.
yeah. Yeah, it smells like a dead snake. Just a little bit.
Just a little
hint,
bit.
hint of dead animal is what we'll
dead-
call that.
Oh, dead snake. Jesse York says, never even considered the fact that they consider that dentistry.
Yeah, I'm doing something that goes in your mouth. And it's fine if I want to make ogre teeth or troll teeth or goblin teeth. But if I do a set of teeth that make your teeth look better and beautiful, then I'm practicing dentistry without a license.
Ezekiel says roadkill. John C. says, if you're right-handed and you make the left eye, ear, tooth, etc. first, it's easier to copy the right side next.
I don't do that. I actually sculpt them both at the same time. I use my left hand to mimic my right. I'm mildly ambidextrous, so that's not that bad for me.
Limelight says, I was thinking about getting monster clay. Now,
It's work, man. It's work.
Jesse York says, the smell adds realism.
Sure does.
Yeah, that probably smells like orc teeth.
Yeah, this does smell worse than regular monster clay because
Because of the snake.
of the places it has been.
Hey, stop biting butts.
Whatever you're into.
You're a dog, man.
We don't kink shame around here.
See, he said no.
Chain.
Seeing them do that, I saw a real cute thing. It looks like the Lady and the Tramp illustration of the two dogs eating spaghetti at the same time. And they meet in the middle and their snouts touch. And then it goes to a very realistically rendered drawing of two dogs. I was like, yes, that is exactly how that would go. That's exactly how that would go. Isn't that right? Isn't that right?
Oh, doggos.
Good night, Scott Colehart.
Good night, Scott.
Good night, Patrick Redding. they're gone, we can sell them. Finn Goggle says, I loved your tutorial on snake making, especially when you used the bath loofah as a paint stencil for the scales. It came out so well. Brilliant.
Hey, thanks.
Got two little
Yep.
magnets.
Ezekiel says, for some reason, the Fleetwood Mac's song Tusk just started in my head.
They have a song called Tusk.
Yeah, I do.
They're way cooler than I thought they were.
John C. says, usually the snake or fish is frozen first before casting. Did you sculpt the snake while newly dead and sleepy?
It was frozen. You'd be amazed how fast a snake unthaws.
Especially in clay that has to be kind of warm.
Well, we molded it in silicone.
Then why does this smell like dead snake?
Because I pulled the dead snake out of the silicone mold and poured in hot
I see.
clay.
Oh. 1980 says, little known fact, modern car wires are coated in a soy-based plastic. Rabbits and mice eat the wiring. Monster clay probably has something similar.
Yep. Well, yeah. It's probably a derivative of beeswax, which is the wax in the clay.
Lisa Gordon Orange says, my Amazon parrot keeps trying to mimic your voice.
There's an Amazon parrot.
I have never heard of such a thing.
Oh, a parrot from the Amazon. Not like the company Amazon. The jungle.
Like the legit parrot.
Yeah, okay.
Ezekiel says, dude, Tusk, all-time top 10 songs for me. Ever.
I'm not a smart music guy.
It is a very good song.
My wife knows it.
John C. says, small green parrot. Limelight sends another distressed and also not crying face.
Well, it was a rough day. I'm telling you, it smelled so bad. I was talking to Mitch, and Mitch at Fitty Mold Supply is like, yeah, come over, we'll do it here, it'll be fun. And I get there, and he's like, we should do this in the parking lot. I'm like, it did smell pretty bad.
Jesse York says, birds used to fly into the factory I worked in and eat the plastic molding beads, probably from the wax as well.
Yep.
1980 says, when I was a young woman.
Yeah, this guy is kind of tusky. And this is where we're going to end for the night. This point of the sculpture, I'm happy with it. I think you guys get an idea of where he's going to go. I have a little bit of work to do, but we're close, you know. This is pretty much straight on. A little bit underneath. Hard side view, profile. I like that profile, and I like how bold those teeth are.
1980 says, looks like me eating ribs. Warren says, epic. Finn Goggle says, awesome sculpt. Skin and bones look good out. Susan Time looks great. Caitlin Longbury says, great sculpt. Thanks for the live feed.
Hey, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. So, Stacy, say goodnight.
Good night.
Wife, say goodnight.
Good night.
I, of course, say goodnight. The doggos say goodnight. And I say, go make stuff.